I got my party hat.
At CoCoTALK, we'd like to thank the patrons who sponsor our show, so our heartfelt gratitude goes out to Al Hartman, Alan Huffman, Alan Murphy, Amigos Retro Gaming, Blair Ledoux, Brendan Donahue, Brian Weasler, D. Bruce Moore, Davey Mitchell, Diego, Patrick Randolph of Dinty's Hideaway, Eric Canales, Graham Vedke, Glenn Hewlett, Grant Leedy, Henry Strickland, Jason Dowds, Jenna Farron, Ken Riker, Kyle Etter, Malfunct, Michael Pitsley, Rick Hewlin, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, Paul Thayer, Rob Inman, Stephen Wagner, Steve Batson, Terry Steen, Terry Steggy, The Backyard Shed Gang, Tom C., Tom S., Tim Lindner, and Tony C. Thank you ever so much, patrons. CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer. With your host, Mr. Gameplay Goodness himself, Stevie Stroud.
Oh, wow. That was a throwback. I figured I'd start off this episode with the original cheesy fake news anchor sounding intro that we did. Gosh, 2017. We're here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to CoCoTALK Live. We are celebrating 200 episodes in 4 years of people who love the color computer, who get together and celebrate. As odd as that seems, it makes sense to some people, especially us here on the panel and those of you watching us live. Thanks for being here. Let's go around the room and say hi to the panel. How about we talk to our backup streamer and engineer, Mr. Mark Bosley. Happy 200, and thank you for being here today, Mark.
Hello. Great to be here.
This guy has been here since episode 1. He is our resident Apple guy. He helps out with the live chats and the streams and timestamps and all kinds of other things. He's an awesome dude. Mark Overholzer is here. Welcome, Mark, and thanks for being here 200 times, roughly.
Yeah, glad to be here. I've missed a few, but I'm probably good in the 170s or 180s. So.
There we go. We got a guy who's making us all jealous with his beard going on there. Rick Hewlin. Hello, Rick.
Howdy, folks. Happy bicentennial.
There we go. We've got one of our newer members to the panel and to the community, but he's fit right in, even though he's an Atari guy. You know him as Sloopy Malibu or the Drive Wireless dude. Hey, Sloopy.
Greetings, Steve, and congrats on 200.
Why, thank you. Thank you. You are too kind. This is the first co-host we ever had, the internet's own Grant Leedy. He is a celebrity of his own rights. Grant Leedy has been here from almost day one and was our first co-host. He's hosted several times. He definitely boosted our ratings. Thanks for being here, Grant, especially on our special day.
Nice to see you guys again.
This was one of the first people who I've met through YouTube via comments on my gameplay videos, and ended up becoming the first person I ever interviewed that would make its way into a series of interviews that would make its way into CoCoTALK. We're talking about, you know him, you love him. He's Canadian. It's L. Curtis Boyle. Thanks for being here today, L. Curtis.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to mention, you mentioned that we played the original old cheesy version of the intro, and we've progressed up to new now.
Yeah, we have new cheesy versions of the intro. Yes, so... we have a very special guest with us, the madman himself, Simon Jonason. Thank you for being here today, Simon. And thanks for all you've done for the community all these years.
Nice beard, man.
Welcome.
It's great to have you. We've got a guy whose name is so nice, we must say it thrice. You know him. You love him. It is none other than...
David Ladd.
David Ladd, are you excited about being here today?
Why, yes, I am, Stevie. And is everybody ready for today's train ride? Oh, I know I am. Are you? Oh, look, Jason's got my drink ready for me. Although it might be a few hours before I can collect it. But let's get this going.
All right. I love doing that to Nick Marotta. He gets all psyched up. He gets all ready. You know him. You love him. We must say his name thrice. It is going once. Going twice. And 3 times for the win. Nick Marotta, thank you for being here.
I feel like Charlie Brown when you got the football lined up and then I sort of kick it and you pull it away. So I'm going to pre-announce next week's game will be Jumpman for the Commodore 64. So,
Woohoo!
I'm going rogue. That's it. I'm tired of this.
We can play rogue. That's fine.
Thanks, Stevie.
Yeah, Lucy Strobridge. That's me. And we got a guy who's best known for saying,
"Stop right there."
It is none other than Jason, the Coco Man Reichert. How are you, Jason?
Oh, I'm doing great. I got a party hat. I've got noisemakers.
Woohoo!
I'm ready to go.
This next guy came to our show with his own theme music. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the smooth and sexy sounds of Ron's Garage with Ron Delvo.
Air guitar, anyone?
Ron Delvo, you have been a national treasure to this community and to this show.
Come on.
I mean it, Ron. You are the epitome of what an awesome human being is. You live that life, and I thank you, sir, for being you. And for being with us.
How many new Coco channels have you started this week?
Let's run the outro.
Ron, we appreciate you, literally.
Thank you.
And honestly. And we have a guy who is so talented, he has 3 names. And those names happen to be D. Bruce Moore. Thank you, Bruce, for all you have done for everyone. You are amazing. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here. You know, 200 is a great number, but shouldn't we have a special episode on episode 256?
That's it.
Wouldn't that be appropriate?
We've reached the end of the 8 bits.
The kill screen episode.
Maybe,
the kill screen.
maybe that's the Armageddon. Maybe that's the end.
That's Armageddon, right?
Okay.
Be sure to turn your computer off before midnight.
Luckily, we have 16-bit registers in the 6809, so we can really go up to 65K.
Oh, yeah,
so
okay.
I think we'll be all right. We'll be okay.
But
that's right.
You know it's Armageddon when Predator is the game of the week.
That'll be the last game on challenge. Absolutely.
Okay.
256 is beyond 8 bits, though.
That's it. That's right. Well, that's true. That's
it's
the 9th
0
bit.
to 255. Yeah.
We're going to use the X or Y register.
Maybe the Ghost episode.
Absolutely.
We're geeking out.
It'd be in the carry register. It'd be in the carry register.
There we go. The carry register.
That's right. The carry bit.
Or be an overflow thing like Grant did, years back.
An overflow. All right. Another relative newcomer to the community, but someone who kind of just kicked the door open, has been hitting the ground running with just being an awesome member of the community and just doing all kinds of cool Coco stuff. We're talking about Alan Murphy. Hey, Alan Murphy, how are you?
Doing all right. Congratulations on 200, Stevie.
Oh, well, I thank you very much. You are too kind. And this guy here holds a very special place in my heart and in my mind. He is, matter of fact, he has really optimized the way I think about things. You know him, you love him. It is James Diffendaffer. Hey, James.
Hey, I've come here to eat pizza and make Stevie rage quit, and I'm almost out of pizza.
Oh
yeah.
Hey-oh. And a guy who likes to say,
"Oh, crikey."
The Thunder from Down Under, the man who puts the might in Vegemite, Nicholas Marentes. Good day, Nick.
Hey, good day, everyone. Good day, fans and air conditioners.
Yes. And we've just been joined by Brian, the Music Man Shoebring from the Glenside Color Computer Club. Brian, thanks for being here on episode 200. So happy to have you. And you're muted. The guy who makes sound is on mute right now, just so.
You did that to me, didn't you?
No,
Happy birthday.
Glad to be here, everyone.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for all you do, sir. All right. So we have a lot of content in store for you today. We're going to be celebrating memories. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things, past and present, maybe even projecting into the future, making some predictions. Who knows? But before we get on with all of the celebrations and all the special content that's been curated and prepared for you today, we are going to go ahead and get everyone's favorite segment, especially Nick Marota's favorite segment, out of the way. We're going to go ahead and just do Game On. We're going to do a speed run on the Game On results and announce the game of next week, get all that done, and then just focus on our celebration for the rest of the show. And this guy loves when we mention his name. He's not a narcissist. Roses are red, violets are blue. Nick Marota's not a narcissist, and neither is he. So we are gonna, and I have a feeling too that this Game On results is going to be precluded and segued by a brand new segment of Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes, the deep thinker and talented vocalist of the Coco community. So let's go ahead and see what Samuel Gimes has to say about this week's game, and then we'll probably get a quick reaction to that, and then go on with the Game On results. So here we go. Get ready for Coco Thoughts, everybody.
Woo-hoo. And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes.
Turtle Attack! Turtle Attack! You're so weird, Turtle Attack! You're so strange, Turtle Attack! Who did pick Turtle Attack? T-U-R-T-R-T-L-E. This tank does have a gun.
This tank does have a gun.
Can be killed by a turtle.
Are you trying to kill us?
Come on, amphibians, lay those eggs. Let's crawl and bite. They're not slow. Turtles way too fast. I can't win. You're so weird, Turtle Attack. You're so strange, Turtle Attack. What the heck, Turtle Attack?
Wow.
Wow.
The soaring harmonies are what made that one.
Wow.
Somebody register his voice as a lethal weapon.
Wow. Oh, Lord.
I love it.
Lord. That is, I don't want to say it's cerebral, but it did attack my cerebellum in some way, shape, or form. And it wasn't necessarily a good one.
Is that considered avant-garde?
Avant-garde.
Yeah.
It was interesting. We were having a discussion last night about what prog rock was, and so Paul Thayer was learning me on progressive rock and the different bands that qualifies that. This was definitely progressive, and it's not in the sense of car insurance by any means.
It needs to be in a 5/4 or 7/4 time.
Samuel L. Gimes, we appreciate what you have done for us so many times. Your talent knows few bounds, and those boundaries are continuously pushed. So thank you, sir. Anyone else? Let's go to our resident music critic and let's poke the bear. Ron Delvaux, what did you think of that one?
You had mentioned cerebral. And I was thinking a different part of the body, like colon.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I was thinking avant-garde, and in Ron's case, it'd be I want to never see that again.
All right, let's get on with the high score Game On Challenge results, everybody.
High Score Challenge with Nick Marotta.
All right, and welcome to another week of results. This week we played Turtle Attack with 22 scores submitted. Ken Reichard, 250. Nathan, 330. David Ladd, 1,360. Kieran, 1,520. Henry Nonek, 1,560. Paul Shoemaker, 1,570. Mr. Dave, 2,140. Sloopy Malibu, 2,180. AC's 8-Bit Zone, 2,270. Coco Discord User, 2,510. Tom C, 2,630. 8-Bits in the Basement, 2,700. C. Duras, 3,550. Jim Rye, 4,410. Boat of Car, 4,500. Me, 5,030. Canadian Retro Things, 5,820. L. Curtis Boyle, 7,250. Digital Bytes, 7,760. David Craker, 9,780. Buck Owens, 9,830. And the number one score this week belongs to Tasman, 13,030. Great score. Thank you for the suggestion, Sloopy, and thank you for all the scores.
All right. You guys have a brief discussion. I think there's somebody at my door. I'll be right back.
All right. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen.
I have to say, that was a hard game.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Somebody could keep an eye on chat. I don't have the chat open, so if anybody makes any comments about the game that are particularly
We'll try.
interesting, please bring them up. So yes, Turtle Attack, a game that I certainly haven't heard of. I'm not sure Sloopy heard of it. Sloopy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So how did you hear about this game? Find about
a month or so ago, when everyone was discussing cassette games. Cassettes and all the speed ups, and everyone was doing all the things with cassettes. You had mentioned in passing that it would be kind of cool for people to try out cassette games to suggest for the Game of the Week challenge. And while I was working on something, I just needed a bunch of cassette files, so I grabbed a bunch of random files and in the WAV format or from the archive and tried them out. And I rather liked this game when I was playing it.
Huh. Yeah. So here, there wasn't a whole lot of information about this game. It definitely flew under the radar, but I believe, I think it was Buck Owens had mentioned he found this, and maybe Curtis as well. This was a mention in Color Computer Magazine, just a little ad for it. And as you see, it was on cassette and 16K.
Yeah, it was quite a nice game. It reminds me of my favorite computer game of all time, which is Crossfire. But it's a pretty good game itself.
And thank you again to Canadian Retro Things, who provides us weekly with gameplay footage on his channel, Canadian Retro Things, on YouTube. Check it out for Coco related and other content. So yeah, I thought it was a fun game too. When you suggested it to me, I tried it out and I thought it was just a fun little shooter. And I thought it was worth. One of the goals of the Coco Game On Challenge is to expose people, including myself, to games that may have flown under the radar. So I thought this was a good pick. So I love when they all drop the eggs like that at one time. It's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, what did you guys think?
Well, it's loosely based on Targ, the arcade game, of which we had another clone on the Coco called Storm Arrows by Spectral.
See, I'd never heard of Targ, but yes, I did hear that. So I don't know if this is technically a port or what, but I'm treating it as an original. So what was Targ? Was it the same grid? And what were you shooting at?
Well, spaceships of some sort. They were pretty simple geometric shapes, even in the arcade version. So
did they drop anything that you had to go pick up?
Yeah, there's little things you had to pick up and stuff too. So
okay, so they just they replaced the ships with turtles.
Yeah, well, I have to say this one's harder. This one, like I know everybody jokes that I played for 5 minutes before I have a lunch break or something like this. This one I played well over an hour, and I only once got even close to the score that I submitted. Everything else was 2,500 or more points less than that.
Now you did start on easy, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, there was a bit of mix-up with some people that didn't know we could start.
I couldn't figure out a strategy. I was thinking, well, maybe if I go part way to a side and maybe to a corner or close to a corner where I have a shorter path for the bullets, I can fire more often. And that worked sometimes, but sometimes it didn't at all, because I would shoot right before the person came up around the corner, and then he'd just slam into me and I'm done. So I didn't really come up with a good strategy.
Well, as Ken Canadian Retro Things mentioned, you can only have 2 shots on the screen at once. So if you shot down a long corridor, then you had to basically wait for that shot to reach the other side before you could shoot again. And one strategy people did was leave the last turtle and chase after it and collect the eggs, because you got more points for the eggs than you did for killing them. But the only issue is they could turn around on you, and when they did, they would often get you. So that was difficult.
Yeah, and some of the turtles definitely outpace your tank. So I mean,
yes, once you get down to like 3 or less turtles, they outpaced you. So
And of course, you have to get the eggs before they fully crack open. They all turn into turtles, and on later screens, you know, you get a whole wave of like you hear 6 new turtles all of a sudden, bang.
yeah. Yeah, so this even on easy, yeah, this was a challenging game, but it was. I appreciate the requests and the suggestions because you know, we've done 52 games now, and I'm starting to run out of games in my head that I remember playing as a kid. So definitely any suggestions you want to PM me in Discord. And I'm looking whether even if it's a game that's sort of particularly games that are under the radar.
Yeah,
you know,
hidden gems.
Yeah, definitely. So this was a nice suggestion by Sloopy, and I've got a list of other requests I'm working through. But please, I'm looking for more requests, Coco 2 or 3.
Yeah, and don't forget to bribe Nick to get your game up sooner rather than later.
Yes, the priority queue. The priority queue. So, yeah. So that was our game, and thank you CRT for your video, and thank you to all the 22 scores submitted. I wasn't sure how many we'd get this week because this was an unknown game. So 22, I was very pleasantly surprised with the turnout. So thank you guys for supporting the segment. And
I know Frodo said that he did play, but he forgot to submit the score because he's been busy, you know, doing research for some of his.
Thanks, Frodo.
He's been doing, like, he takes an old retro computer and then he take the first year and a half worth of games that came out for it, and he's been doing these long streams just quickly going through a bunch of the gems. And he's actually got a Dragon Coco one coming up. We just did the Commodore 64 one this morning, for example, but it's an interesting take of seeing the early games, like before the platform really got learned.
Speaking of Dragon, I'm particularly interested in hearing Dragon requests because that is a library I do not know. So if there are any killer games on Dragon that you think were, you know, pretty indicative of the system, I'm definitely interested to hear because we can play Dragon games through XRoar if we don't have actual dragons. Although some people here do have dragons, either Tano or the.
If you're talking about indicative of the dragon, you're probably talking about something that involves Cuthbert.
Yeah, Cuthbert goes to the drive-through, or Cuthbert goes to the library. Yeah, one of those, you know.
Cuthbert buys groceries.
Yeah.
Cuthbert goes to the bar and gets hammered, you know, that kind of thing.
Cuthbert gets a hangnail.
Cuthbert goes to the bar was later brought over here as brewmaster.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
So one thing I will mention about the Dragon that Nick Marentes and I really like is that they were one of the ones that really experimented with the higher semi-graphics modes way more than we did on the Coco for some reason. I don't know why. They're both they had quite a few good games. Scramble clones, Pac-Man clones, all kinds of stuff we never saw.
Well, they didn't get a Coco 3, right? So they were using the Coco 2 like hardware well past 84, right? Like they were still making games for the Dragon Coco 2 era tech into 87, 88, didn't they?
So they're pushing the boundaries they could.
Yeah, plus there was a lot of cross-platform games in the UK and Europe that, you know, the Dragon along with the Spectrum and the BBC Micro and others all had, you know, like Chucky Egg and that kind of stuff that we never saw here, but got on multiple systems down there, including the Dragon. So there's a pretty big library. There's hundreds of games that the Dragon had that we did not officially get in North America for the Coco.
The 60 is bringing up Airball, saying he always loved Airball, but it doesn't suit a score challenge. So, and that question has come up. Ken Riker says Cuthbert gets syphilis, right? That's Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, we'll have to think of a way if we can do that. This game that doesn't have score. Yeah, that'd be because I'd hate to limit. You know, I'm not exposing the great game just because of that. So yeah. So PM me your suggestions anyway, and whether they involve score or not, and we'll check them out. I'd love to give the Dragon users a little bit of attention too, because we appreciate them.
Yeah,
and you're part of the Coco family, so.
Yeah, and there's hidden gems on the Coco like this one here, for example, that most people don't know of too, even from some of the bigger manufacturers, like something like Intercept 4 by Mictron Computer Shack. I don't think most people have actually played or even know how, because it's not the easiest game in the world. But
send me your suggestions. All right, so I think we'll go ahead.
More games.
Yeah.
I think we know a guy who's got a website you could probably look at to get some ideas.
Yeah, this game actually reminded me I have to start working on that again, because this is one I don't have on the site, even though I have played it years ago. I tried it once briefly, but I didn't.
I think the next one is too. I looked on your site and couldn't find it. So
this one will not be on my site.
All right, so we ready to talk about next week's game?
Oh,
so we
please.
can go on to the
Drum roll,
festivities?
please. Drum roll,
All right,
please.
so I treated this as if it was an original, so I picked a port for next week. And
sounds important.
It is Froggy. Now, we do have a
Froggy.
number of Frogger clones. So this one is Froggy, Froggie. Now, I'm going to warn you, I tried to take a screenshot in VCC, and it was not working properly in VCC, but it does work on a real Coco 2 and a real Coco 3. So if you have problems in VCC, I'm sorry about that, but I like the emulators, but if a game works in a hardware, then I'm going to go ahead and pick it. So Froggy.
Let's not forget there's also X-Roar.
And there's
MAME.
also X-Roar and MAME. So hopefully it works on one of those if you don't have an actual.
I'm trying to remember, this one supports a speech sound pack too, doesn't it?
I think
does.
only speech though, no real
It talks.
sound. Yeah.
If you don't have a speech sound pack in, it'll say experience this game with a speech sound pack. And if you do have the speech sound pack, it'll talk welcome to level.
I was so disappointed whenever I bought a game thinking I was going to get something good.
Now,
and
this would have been a prime game because Frogger had fantastic background.
Yeah.
This would have been a prime game for them to do music playing in the background. So that, I mean, they really cheaped out just doing the speech. It's unfortunate, but
because there wasn't a lot of coding involved to do that. You're basically sending text.
Yeah.
To
Now, I have a question. I don't know if you know, Nick. I don't know how much research you've done on Froggy, because I do remember Froggy being, advertised in Rainbow for the Spectral Associates. It was actually displayed in color along with some other games they did. But I noticed that it's a sub-license thing where they licensed it to Spectral, and it says Pro Color Group, but they spelled color the Canadian, Australian, UK way. So I'm wondering, where is Pro Color from? Or is it?
No idea. No idea. This was actually literally a last minute. I decided I had another game picked out for this week, and all of a sudden I saw a Frogger screen on somewhere on Facebook, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what, that's a game we should do. So I picked this literally last minute and made sure it worked on the actual Cocos, and then got her in. So
will it support keyboard?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure, because I also tried a different one called Frogger. I can't remember what the other one was called. Frogger, I think, and it did. But I like this one a little more. I like the graphics on this one more.
I mean, because Frogger is a perfect game for keyboard.
I don't know if this supports keyboard or not.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Oh,
okay.
perfect.
Ken Reichert has confirmed.
Oh, thank you. Great.
Our resident fact checker.
Our crack team.
Yes.
All right.
Who?
Our team on crack. No. All right. So this is our game for next week. And Stevie, sincere thank you for allowing me to do this segment. It's been a lot of fun. And another sincere thank you to all the people who play week in and week out. We couldn't do this without you guys. If it was just me playing, it would not probably be very entertaining. So.
Well, remind everybody what the whole reason behind Game On 2. It's not just about bragging rights of getting the best score, right?
It's not. It's to do something as a community, just to sort of have some, play like a user group kind of thing. We're playing together. We're sort of comparing this. We compare scores just for fun, but that's all it is fun. It doesn't matter if you come in first or last in the rankings. It's just something to do as a group, and just kind of like to better each other in a spirit of fun and camaraderie. And again, I'll thank Mr. Dave for the suggestion initially, and he and I hashed it out and came up with the format, which seems to be working pretty well. And I've heard people say they enjoy it. That really makes me feel good to know that people are enjoying the segment and the sense of community. So thank you guys.
Now, I do want to mention something quick here. I know we're not doing news because we've got the whole 200th anniversary special stuff going on, but I did want to mention that Jamie Cho released a Coco 3 game based on the Dynasprite engine called Space Bandits, which is a kind of
looks neat.
Yeah, it looks
it's a Coco 3 Space Invaders clone, but it has like background graphics, digitized sound effects. It supports the Orchestra 90 card. So he just released it this week. I know, like I said, we're not doing official news this time, but I did want to mention that for anybody out there that has a Coco 3 or a Coco 3 emulator. Go grab it. It's actually pretty good. And he's actually got a Mac port of it as well. So
very cool. Very cool.
So I did want to mention something here in the chat. Is it Amphibian Month on CoCoTALk for Game On Challenge now?
Yes, next week's going to be
turtles.
Yeah. Oh, now you got me thinking. Too bad we did Rampage already.
Yeah, right.
We can call it Animal Month too, because you did Donkey Kong as well. So
we could do Dino
3 games in a row
Wars.
based on animals.
Maybe Dino Wars next week.
Dino Wars.
Although they're reptiles, but still, yeah. Coco man, you got me thinking.
Yes.
Well, you can blame Ken for that in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Ken. And actually, I will say thank you, Samuel Gimes, too, for all the Game On Coco related thoughts you've been doing. I know originally you were doing, more like Jack Handy's old thoughts, but then he started doing ones related to the Coco game of the week, and it's been a real great addition to the segment. So thank you, Samuel Gimes, for your creativity and the time you put in making those videos. And
there you go.
And
really
thanks for
appreciate it.
teaching. Like, he's helping teach music. Like, he displays exactly how not to sing in key.
Before we move on to the main event, let's just say hi to some of the people in the live chat. Kevin Holloway, which was one of the first people here. Ken Reichard, Terry Steen, Coco Man, 8 Bits in the Basement is here. Samuel Gimes is here. Alexander Wallace, TJB Chris is here. Terry Steen and Samuel Gimes and Canadian Retro Things and Samuel Gimes and Terry Steen, 8 Bits in the Basement. And Explore VR is here. Ben Drakes and Ken Reichard and Dave and Sharon. Mr. Dave is here. Erico is here. Hello, Erico. David Lord is here. Hello, David. And Frederick D. Provincia is here. And I'm going through the James. Gosh, I can't even read right now. James Jones is here. Erico, Terry, Kevin Holloway, Terry Steen. I know I'm repeating myself. 8 Bits in the Basement, Dave and Sharon. That's Mr. Dave. And then in Twitch, who do we have in Twitch watching us right now? We have, going back to Twitch, we have Frodo is in Twitch. Hello, Frodo is out there. And Digital Bytes is out there. And Just Mike 68 is out there. And ARG Presents. That's the Amigos guys. Hello to you guys. And Frodo and Marco and Paco Otakte. Lots of people. It's hard to keep up with all the chat now because we got chat going to different places on different streams. We got people.
And Sheldon
watching us on
McDonald and
Facebook.
60 Karen's here. There's a whole
60
bunch.
is here. Karen's here. Terry Steen, Dave and Sharon, 60, Coco Man. You guys, thank you all for being here every week, for coming out and watching the show. So we are going to. We have some prepared segments that have been pre-recorded, but we are going to watch them live. Almost all of these things nobody has seen before, so we're going to be getting genuine reactions. We'll be commenting on them. We might need to pause and rewind from time to time. So the first thing we're going to do is a very special piece that was orchestrated by Brian Joyce of Extructus Productions. And for those who don't know or remember Brian Joyce, he was one of the first people who was watching our show back in our first year of 2017, who really kind of honed in on what we were and who some of the different personalities of the show were and things like that, and started making all kinds of cool clips. And he brought us all kinds of the cool David Ladd stuff. He created two of our best of episodes and all kinds of really value added content. So he was one of the first kind of independent media producers, and we're very lucky to have lots of people doing that for us now. So Brian Joyce was one of the first to do that, and so he took it upon himself, knowing that we were coming up on episode 200, to create something. And I believe he also reached out to people covertly and asked them to contribute to whatever it is we're about to see. So none of us have seen this before. I think it's about a half hour long, but I know it's going to be awesome. So we're going to press the button right now. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll ever be.
Here we go.
Bring it on.
At CoCoTALK, we'd like to thank the patrons who sponsor our show, so our heartfelt gratitude goes out to Al Hartman, Alan Huffman, Blair Ledoux, Bowton John, Brendan Donahue, Brian
That's an
Weasler,
old
D.
credit
Bruce Moore,
there
Davey
for the
Mitchell,
patrons.
Diego, Patrick Randolph, Dinty,
Is that part of the video?
Frodo
Yes,
NL,
it's part of the video.
Glenn Hewlett, Graham
okay.
Vemke, Grant Leedy, Henry Strickland,
You sure?
Jason Downs,
Yes.
Ken Reichert, Kyle Etter, Malfunk, Michael Pitsley, Rick Hewlin, Paul
like
Fiscarelli,
the Matrix.
Paul Shoemaker, Paul Thayer, Richard Lorbiewski,
This was meant to be the
Jenna
intro to
Farron,
the show.
Rob Inman, Alan Murphy,
Oh,
Stephen
okay.
Wagner, Terry Steen, The Backyard Shed Gang, Tom C., Tom S., Tim Lindner, and Tony C. Thank you ever so much, patrons. CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, We're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the only show in the world featuring David Ladd.
Oh, I see. Cool.
Setting the bar kind of low there.
Oh, Back to the Future music.
Great Scott! We are live, Coco Chat number 2.
So we're going on the internet now?
Welcome everybody, filled with MSG. All right, everybody, that's this many. It's the only ones, no shortage of eye candy. And that's why we're leading. Might have a few people fall off out of boredom. People of the Earth and other planets who are joining us. Lucky number 13. Nothing but gorgeous, beautiful men. It's me, it's the original gamer Stevie Stroh. Put your best face forward. The nation,
Wow.
the nation's leading Saturday, April. No, it's not April. It's July. About 20. Handy color computer. Hopefully, we'll have a bunch more.
There I am.
Oh, what's his face? Breaker of things, David Ladd. And that was my message to Curtis. All right, nothing like overproducing a show. Not quite fully ready for the show yet. So welcome to welcome.
We have not gotten enough floppy talk on our show.
So what time's that 2 o'clock show start today? I want to take a quick moment here to do a shameful plug. It's not a reveal.
Are you ready?
Welcome to controlling a live show, Grant.
Yeah.
Feel free to not
Really?
acknowledge us at all, Ron. That's fine. I could take 15 hours of MC10 bashing. Go. Sorry about that.
How can you be saying that country with a horseshoe up your ass? Merry Christmas to everybody.
And a Happy New Year.
I wouldn't describe it as pleasant. I'm just going to sit in the corner and watch. No animosity here. Nick Marentes. Good day, Nick. If there was a calendar of the dudes of retro, David would be the cover boy. There you go. There's some mock enthusiasm.
It was very exciting.
Oh, Lord.
But we got some new faces, we got some old faces, we got some faces of people that are old. The show is jammed so packed that we're going to try to pack this entire show into an entire hour. So suck on that, Apple and Atari people. That's a defect right there. That's a defect.
That's just too cheap.
We have a moral imperative and obligation to our audience. Brightest star in the Coco universe, Sir David Ladd. As long as I don't get too damn tired, which happens sometimes. All right, everybody be quiet. I think we're going live. Shh. I do see my big fat head on YouTube now.
This train wreck will be a major train wreck today.
As Grant would say.
And so now my frickin' sound mixer is screwed up. Thank you, Microsoft, right?
I'm definitely a lot less sick sounding today than I was last week. Back from his gender reassignment surgery, we've got Grant Leedy with us. Hey, Grant, how are you? We've got a wonderful panel of quasi-talented individuals with us here today. The OG Stevie Stroh here, substituting for Grant Leedy, episode 63. I'm your host, Grant Leedy, the man everybody wants to watch and listen to. Coco Forever guy, Force of Doom guy, Bruce Moore's with us. How's it going, eh?
It's going good, eh?
We're going to do it live. You guys ready to do it live?
Sure, go ahead.
Why start now?
Rage quit.
Rage quit. Rage quit. Rage quit. Rage quit.
66.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
And now, Stevie Thoughts.
Oh my God.
By Samuel Gines.
Born in a place south of Tallahassee, humid space in the land near the sea. Raised at the shack, so he knew some Tandy. Rage quit the show at the start of hour 3. Stevie, oh gee Stevie, king of the CoCoTALK sphere. In 2017 the show uprose, adding irreverence to the whole world's woes. Now Nick Marotta is someone he knows. Then he calls on David Ladd and off he goes. Stevie,
Oh my God.
oh gee Stevie, king of the CoCoTALK sphere. Off through the YouTubes it's a marching along, talking up news and singing some songs. Interviewing and talking can't be wrong. 200 episodes and still going strong. Stevie, oh gee Stevie, king of the CoCoTALK sphere.
Couldn't that be going wrong?
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, Ron, if you could just stop breathing, that'd be great. In 3 fingers,
Yeah, still
2
going
fingers,
wrong.
and my favorite finger.
Some boobs here in the next near future.
Had those for years.
Hello, I just can't wait till we go live streaming on MySpace.
MySpace Live. And then we have that no talent hack parent of his, D. Bruce Moore's with us. Hey, Bruce. We have legendary game designer Rick Adams is with us. Can I get a thank you? You're too kind.
Thank you, you're too kind. Okay.
No, it was one of those life-changing bathroom experiences.
Although I'm curious, Grant, you said that today you're Grant Leedy, so what are you on other days?
The train has left the station. The train is on the rails, but it won't remain there for long. We have the host with the most, Mr. Bringing Sexy Back, Mr. Sexy Never Left. Grant Leedy is in the house. Hello, Grant. And in case you're not aware of this, welcome to the soundboard that doesn't work talk. And so, Ron, how's the International Space Station holding up right now? You got things going there smoothly?
We are A-OK.
All right, Rob Inman says, hello. Hold on, folks. Kiss the next 4 hours of your life goodbye. Cue broken soundboard. This train wreck is about to start. Testes, 1, 2. Testes, 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 1, 2. They got a face for radio, kid, but we are here. We're queer. Deal with it. That's a different show I do.
Connecting, streaming.
We're sorry. Support for the guys that have had their hair from their butt put on their head.
The biggest fan of the OS 9 operating system on the planet, Nick Marentes from Australia. G'day, Nick.
It's going to be a hit because I'm on the show today, not Stevie. And Curtis is also co-hosting as well, so that even makes it double better.
Just to let you know, this show will not be as good as mine last week.
And then sometimes you hear me say, and then let's try this again. All right, so the light is green. We're live on YouTube. Cue intro. We've had our Coco Christmas. Hopefully Coco Claus was good to everyone.
And that's the show. It's over. What do you think?
Hello, stars. Are you out there?
Some people just call it dumpster fire, but okay, that sounds better.
Heavy breathing has started.
Any special guests for tonight?
John Strong of Strongwear is scheduled to appear.
And some guy named Stevie Straw. I don't know who this weirdo is.
I have a feeling that somebody here just can't decide what the hell time they want to have this damn show. For those of you not aware, we will be having the calendar of CoCoTALK coming out soon. The ladies will go wild for that. This year, go big or go home, man. I'm gonna bid high. I'm gonna bid on everything. I'm gonna make Alan Huffman cries. Now my real-time clock was a little out of sync, unfortunately, so since I had the prototype, we've got solder porn up on the screen here. Look at those joints. People who for whatever reason keep showing up every single Saturday, so thank you and I'm sorry. All right, we're here and we're live.
This is amazing.
And the timing couldn't be any better, but I gotta let my dog outside. So Curtis Boyle, why don't you start off by introducing the panel and I'll be right
All
back,
the clips
man.
he must have gone through.
I know.
Poor
Hello,
guy.
CoCoTALK. It's John and Aaron
Oh my
here
God.
from the Coco Show podcast. And we just wanted to tell you how proud we are of you of reaching the milestone of 200 episodes. I know that my love of the Coco has been really, really increased by CoCoTALK. I tune in every Saturday without fail. Sometimes I watch a little bit after the fact, but I love CoCoTALK. Aaron, I know you're a big CoCoTALK fan. What's your favorite segment?
You know, my favorite segment is when they're all together on screen. It's like some kind of geeky Hollywood Squares. They're all talking about some kind of hardware that I can't possibly understand. That's when I get a little tingly inside because I'm learning something, man. Plus the game section, see a bunch of crazy games I never heard of. That gets me fired up. That show is personally responsible for me buying my pet here, the Coco 3. I love it, and I try to catch at least some of it every week. You can't catch it all because it goes on for 10 to 12 hours, but I catch as much as I can. What about you, big man?
Oh, I love it all. I love all the commercials.
These guys are awesome.
I love the Coco Thoughts segment. I love how crazy and wacky that gets. I'm telling you guys, congratulations. We both love your show. We support your show on Patreon, and we hope you have a great 200th episode, and here's to 200 more.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome, too.
I'm not great at testimonials. Instead, I made this list. The top 10 reasons to be thankful for OG Stevie Stroh.
This is Rick Hewlett.
Number 10, Mike Dresser, your puppy from an alligator. Number 9, he is the master enabler. Hair as bad as all of ours, and he's bilingual. Crikey. Keeps the sweat hogs in line and exhibits negative entropy. Plus, he's ukulele tolerant and keeps handing me beers.
Oh!
His bloated head always regenerates. That's the main reason. To follow OG Steve is we'd otherwise have to go outdoors Saturdays. So thanks, Steve.
Oh, that's awesome.
Places to go. And good luck with that entropy thing.
Thanks, Rick.
Hey, original gamer Stevie Stroh. Congratulations on 200 episodes of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show about the Tandy Color computer.
Hey, Stevie. It's Paul Fiscarelli here.
Hey,
Just
Paul.
wanted to congratulate you on your 200th episode of CoCoTALK. What an unbelievable accomplishment. Thank you so much for your dedication and hard work. And over the last 3.5, 4 years, it's been a tremendous asset and resource for the community. I'm certainly looking forward to the next 200 episodes. And when we finally do have the ability to get together, looking forward to buying you a beer so we can really celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks again,
Here,
Stevie.
here.
Take care.
And remember, Paulie's
Scared of
buying.
Frozen. You are watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly video podcast.
Nick
Tandy
Marotta.
Color computer.
Nick Marotta.
Spread the love.
Nick Marotta. It's in his contract. We must say it thrice.
Original color computer. The Coco 3.
This is awesome, Brian and everybody. This is awesome. I'm almost getting misty. Well, let's put it this way. We got something. I am not sure what we've got in store for you tonight, but it'll be something.
This is an amazing video, yeah.
Train wreck that everybody loves to hate and hates to love.
Welcome to CoCoTALK, everybody.
Episode 104 is going to happen in 3 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Nick Marotta.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know. It was a mercy kill last week.
Let's go around the room, say howdy, ho.
Yeah, and I can make up their names as I go along, so that's cool.
Yep. And Curtis, why don't you take it off and get our great panel here introduced?
Oh boy, I wasn't expecting that.
Don't take things so darn seriously.
From Australia, where people say crikey all the time, it is Nick Marentes. Good day, Nick.
G'day, everyone, and yeah, crikey.
From Southern California, I'm not sure if it's sunny, but
feeling.
he's here. Mr. Steve Bjork. Hello, Steve. I'm not sure if it's going to be a great show, but we've got a show in store for you today.
Wait, let's upsell it, Steve.
Yes, yes, yes. Look at this panel of beauties here. We've got the frickin' Brady Bunch up here. You were mounted by the police?
Yeah, if you've ever watched Due South.
An experience you don't want to have.
Last but not least, in the center square to block, it's Ron Delvo.
Hello.
Our resident Apple guy and wearer of fine quality eyewear, we've got Mark B. Overholzer.
On the next row on our panel of squares. That almost has a double meaning.
Hey, it's Mikey. Mikey, he likes it. How are you, Mikey?
Good. My call sign today is Shaky Cam number 1.
Nobody's here for us in this crap show. They're here for David O'Connor. Oh, we want to know when the Coco 4 is coming. So that's a machine that never.
Right.
You know, we're used to having a couple of Canucks and a couple Aussies, but it's not every day you get 2 Jersey boys. Mr. Thank You, You're Too Kind. Mr. Rick Adams is with us. Hello, Rick.
Thank you, and thank you. You're too kind. Okay.
Lord of the floppies, Duke of digital data. It is none other than Sir David Ladd. Welcome to the program, David.
Hello, everyone.
Are you excited, David?
We will return after these messages.
Uh-oh, what is this?
What is love?
Oh!
Congratulations, Stevie, for getting us to 200 episodes. And hopefully we can get to another 200 episodes. Can you keep us on the rails? I know you can. Congratulations, Stevie.
Oh, thank you,
Good work.
David. Yes.
Congratulations to Stevie and the rest of the team that make Coco Talk possible on the 200th episode. Am I patting myself on the back maybe just a little bit?
Stevie.
Simon.
Let me light up one of my infamous
All right.
Pulmore spliffs.
Skinny
like I
cigarette.
usually do. As you often speculate about me and my Pulmore spliffs.
Spleef. Smoke a spleef, man.
And the other thing I would do is say
All right.
cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Like I always
Cheers.
do on Coco Chats. So, well, you know,
This is great.
here we go.
That is
Here's
awesome.
to you and 200 episodes. That's quite a feat. Quite a feat. And please keep doing what you're doing because there's a lot of people out there that appreciate it, alright?
Ah, thank you.
So I know we might not always see eye to eye. None of us can. Way of the world, you know. But
Simon
stuff you're doing
Jonasson is
is
so cool. He comes with his own jazz music.
appealing
You
to a
notice
lot of
that?
people in the community.
He's
so
one cool cat.
Keep it going.
Yeah, and
Keep
he's
it
got
going.
a beard now.
So,
Yeah.
and with that, I'll just smoke this spliff.
Smoke the spliff. I love you, Simon. Simon, you're awesome, dude.
That was great.
How are you, panel?
Doing fine.
Been great.
Is this thing on?
Extraneous oh, we're only like
intro
halfway
by
through this
amateur
thing.
host.
Well, I'm glad you've been promoted to amateur.
Who is excited to have a great show
We're
today?
more than halfway.
I am.
Our resident news anchor and Canadian. G'day. G'day.
Now you're in Australia.
Yes. How's it going, L. Curtis Boyle? Well, happy Thanksgiving, you Canadian turkeys. Gobble, gobble. A guy who does not need to put a palm on his face because it's so damn pretty. It's Nick Marotta. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I had some work done this week.
Frequently said the words Nick Marotta so many times I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night with a cold sweat. Oh, crikey, it's good to be here.
Your gift to yourself is being away from us.
Oh, I was just gonna say we've got Coco thoughts and then we've got troll thoughts.
Just ignore that channel.
Yeah, I've muted all the OS9 stuff myself. So.
What about Diet Dr. Pepper, David? Are you thankful for Diet Dr. Pepper?
Oh, I go through like 6 liters of Dr. Pepper every day.
Ron Delvaux was stroking his color computer, and I chose to ignore that.
No ukuleles were harmed in the filming of this episode.
We've got a panel of luminaries, legends, and Nick Marotta. I'm here to answer all of Richard Lorbieski's complaints in real time.
Yeah, it's been a great ride, and hopefully the ride's not over. Yes, and Retro Innovation says, yay, C64, finally some reasonable knowledge. Speaking of ukuleles, he's got one that costs approximately $5, and he probably spent $4 too much on it. Jason, the Coco Man Reichert's here. Get your Cocos out of the closet, right? And that was a true statement 40 years ago. It's a true statement today, too.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. I checked earlier.
We're on
streaming,
YouTube and
so.
Facebook. Yep, YouTube and Facebook are both up.
Doesn't mean anyone's watching.
Are you ready for a great show? I certainly am.
Which show are you watching?
Our show.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. So the winner was Nick Marentes. We'll see you next week. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome. I don't know why I said welcome because I'm not hosting, but thank you very much.
Yeah, so prepare for a riveting 8-hour episode.
Because everyone wash your hands and don't touch your face.
Yeah.
After these messages.
This is incredible.
We'll be right back.
Hey Stevie, this is Grant.
Greg!
I just want to congratulate you on 200 episodes.
Look how thin and pretty Grant looks now, too. He's a sexy beast, ain't he?
It has been a pleasure to be
And
a
Nick's
backup
got some
streamer
competition
for you.
now.
Yeah.
And also, it has been a pleasure to live stream on your show, accidentally, of course.
Isn't he
But anyway,
dreamy?
Steve,
He
it's
is
been
dreaming.
a wonderful journey with you. Congratulations on your 200th episode. And here's to 200 more episodes. Take care. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Hey, Stevie. Congratulations on the 200th episode
Mark
of Coco
Mosley.
Talk. Looking forward for the next 200.
Another 200.
G'day, mates.
Uh-oh.
This is Nick Marionettes, author of such color computer titles as Funstar, Aussie SG, and Crikey Pipes.
Crikey
and
Pipes.
I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous live color computer talk show host, Steve Strobridge.
Crikey.
Stevie's Coco Talk show has done so much to bring enthusiasm back into the Coco community. Stevie has brought so many coconuts together. His humor and ability to communicate in a clear and simple way is definitely ease of use. Stevie Strobridge is such a friendly and encouraging host. He gives everyone a chance to share their passions. Even David Ladd and his floppy talk. Well, I guess 9 out of 10 ain't so bad. Stevie Strobridge, Coco Talk, forever.
Oh.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
There may be a global pandemic that's going around, but it's not stopping Coco Talk. We are here every week for you live, and we're sorry. Okay, thank you, Megan. Thank you. I'm live and on the air. I know. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Stop right there.
With the Coco Talkers, we've assembled a panel of people with squeaky chairs for you. Coco forever, people. All right. Virtual Coco Fest. Oh.
We are here. We are
here. We are live.
Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you. You're too kind. Thank you.
That's all I have to say is wow.
James Diffendaffer saying, "What's the password?" I feel like we're playing Leisure Suit Larry right now.
And probably one of the most exciting things I found on tape, and is VidTex.
It's got to be right up there with color scripted, doesn't it?
We're ready to pump the digital storage. Let's get the show on the road.
Hello, stars.
Robbie.
Hello, Gene.
Yes, that would be me.
Nitrous 9 is so
The finest
powerful it can
members
actually
of the
stream
Core
Coco
Computer
Talk community that we could assemble on short notice with zero budget. Thank you all for being here. And that's what I spent the past 9 hours this morning working on, and it just flatlined. This episode of Coco Talk brought to you by Detox It. And next week will be brought to us by Botox It. There we go. From the cover of Tiger Beat magazine, it is none other than
Dreamy.
That is awesome.
We got a guy who likes to say,
"Stop right there."
It's Jason, the Coco Man Reichert. Hello, Jason.
Hello, and I don't like saying that.
I don't think any amount of practice is going to make it any better.
Gonna wanna.
Welcome to Commodore Pet Talk, where we celebrate the 6502, the greatest processor ever invented in the history of micro technology. Commodore Pet, Commodore Pet, Commodore Pet. Any final thoughts, Mikey?
Go Commodore!
Go. Don't talk about my MC10 like that, Curtis.
Yeah, I thought we were going to do the dating game, and our first contestant was going to be David Ladd.
Well, everything is bigger in Texas, including
ego, apparently.
Yeah.
Crikey, have we got a great show for you today, boys and girls. Unfortunately, it's being hosted by me. There we go. There goes the rating. Hold on, I got to put on my Mark Overholzer magnifying glasses. Man, this is a great-looking panel. I swear to God, you guys get better looking all the time. I don't know how you do it. What's your secret?
Which nostril hair are you referring to there with those glasses
so,
on?
I've got some folks. We're going to talk about something very cool today.
I thought we just showed up.
Hello, everybody, and how's everybody doing today? I'm David Ladd, and I'm your temporary host.
Oh, wow. How'd that happen?
No, I don't know.
Here's how that happened. Stevie and David, a love story. Oh, my God.
Oh,
Fletcher. JT.
I need it.
Oh, my God!
Sounds expensive.
JT.
Fletcher.
JT.
Time is money, Fletcher.
I like that.
I knew you would.
Oh my God!
JT.
You'll go far.
The show that just won't stop despite numerous requests, restraining orders, and forces of Congress.
For those of you wondering what the heck we're talking about,
that's usually every week.
It's been documented in enough places. He came to the price. I told him horse shit. He said he didn't tell me what to say when you said horse shit.
Oops. Out there shaking hands and kissing babies, huh? Pressing the flesh.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly.
All right.
Yes, you don't shake the babies and kiss hands. Okay, can you do David Ladd doing Mark Overhoser?
It is just, you can sing to it, it's catchy, you can dance to it.
Song that broke the internet.
Can conceive children to this song. It's got so many purposes. Former lead singer to the rock band ZZ Top, Rick Euland's with us.
Howdy, folks, and don't feel bad, Curtis. I don't even have bangs.
No makeup or mask required. This is all natural.
Thank you, panel, for laughing at my jokes. I really do appreciate that.
CoCoTALK. We're here every week, whether you want us to be or not.
How you doing, sir? Hello, everybody. David, I'm excited to be here. David Ladd, were you excited to be here today, David?
Oh, why? Yes, Stevie. I was extremely excited to be here. And the key was.
Only show in the world featuring David Ladd.
Oh, yeah.
So pretty much the usual.
It's winter, man, and it is like 70 degrees here in Florida, man. I don't know how you guys deal with
Florida
that
winters must be killer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we
Rise
have a
and
caller.
shine, woodchuck chuckers. It's Groundhog Day.
Oh my goodness. There
Well,
we
that's
go.
the reason.
Over 4
Yeah, we heard
years
that.
of introductions on the show that just won't stop, despite numerous requests. We're here.
hello everyone. Looking forward to the show today. I don't know why.
Where the hell are they? They're not on that old YouTube channel. Hey, man, I'm sitting here turning this here knob here, and this doohickey ain't pulling up the feed, man. Hey, honey, jiggle them antennas there for us. Not only do I not forget about you, I am constantly thinking about you, and that's not at all creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, David Ladd has just joined us. David Ladd, are you there?
No crap.
David, that's why when I make love, I get on the bottom, because I only know how to screw up. All right, and we're moving along here. So, and last but certainly not least,
The cat barfed all over my bed.
oh my goodness.
Wow.
From around the world, what you need to know.
Uh-oh.
I gotta watch
Get caught
this.
up on.
It's not done yet.
And now a Muppet News Flash.
Hello, Stevie, and congratulations to you and everyone else on the panel, in the viewership out live, and also on the ones who'll be watching or listening to the podcast version afterwards on the 200th episode of CoCoTALK. It's been a great, unexpected ride doing this. When I first started talking to Stevie in the YouTube comments, basically, he did a lot of gaming videos back around the 2015, 2014 time area, and I would have to go in and correct everything he was doing wrong in the games. And we just kind of got a good, patter going back and forth, talking about the Coco and stuff. And then he decided to invite me on a Skype call in 2016, I think it was, just after New Year's, like pretty early in the year.
I think that was your idea.
Just to kind of go over some alternate
I remember
game controllers,
because I wouldn't have volunteered
like a
to
trackball,
invite
and
you.
I had the Dicom Sega Master light gun adapter, and I had the pistol grip joystick from Tandy and stuff. So some of the ones that weren't too oftenly used were used to the Deluxe and the Black Beauties. So we kind of did a little 3/4 of an hour thing. He got a little bit of history from me, and I got a little bit of history from him on his experience with the Coco from when he was young. And then the following year, in 2017, we decided to try to do a special preview show for the Coco Fest. And that was kind of like the pilot version of CoCoTALK, when I don't think either of us were fully expecting this to become a regular show at that point.
It is more just to promote the fest at that time. But I mean, here we are 200 episodes later, still going strong, actually stronger. We've had, interviews with all kinds of Coco luminaries, past, present, and future. It's involved people like, Steve Bjork and the image producers, getting all these stories that, were in danger of being lost forever if nobody actually got them down somehow. So those have been recorded for posterity, and now everybody can, learn all that kind of details back from the past. Some of those people have actually joined us on the panel on occasionally, which is something also unexpected. Because like Stevie, I was kind of in awe on some of these people when I was young. And, now they've become friends, and that's just great. I definitely like the interviews. That's one of my favorite parts of the show. And, the whole thing just starting from just commenting on Stevie's videos, that was just amazing.
And
to paraphrase
Alan
Huffman, I was basically on there to help Stevie not fall off cliffs. This is a wise, cracking commentator. And now, I mean, this has been a multi-year journey up to episode 200. I mean, there's been a few hiccups along the way. Occasionally we get some technical glitches with, internet speeds or OBS crashing or whatever else happens. It always seems to be something. A few infamous rage quits, power failures from people right in the middle of talking, which I believe happened to me once too. And just a lot of things that happened that, it's not a smooth running ship all the time. Some people would say never. But it's been a great bit of, I guess the best way to describe CoCoTALK to me is fun. It's like the user groups of old where you could just get together, talk about your favorite computer or one of your favorite computers, and you can like multiple ones. But it was the funness where you'd get together the group. You might have a serious presentation, you might have a demo or something else, you might interview somebody if they were visiting, talking about something. And then you'd have just the general chit chat, general around coffee or a soft drink, whatever type thing, and just have fun talking about it and learning things and appealing to experienced users and beginners and intermediates and everything else. And that's, I think, what we're kind of doing with our community here, is that it's an interactive show, so that you're not just watching it after the fact, but people can chime in the chat on YouTube, on Twitch, etc., or join the panel and actually come on and ask questions. But it's fun. It's relaxed. It's fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously. It's just like a user meeting in the days of old, and it's international now. I mean, we've got people from Europe and from South America, from North America, from Australia, from Asia, all coming on the show, which would have been impossible back in the user group days. So in that way, it's actually better, and especially in this era of COVID. I mean, you can't travel to see each other. We've had to cancel fests. It might happen again this year. Looking pretty slim. It'll be ready to go in April, and yet we can still have these meetings and still chat with each other and interact. And that's one of the best things about it. I think it's just amazing and great that we've made it to our 200th episode. And thanks, Stevie, for the starting it up and hosting it and organizing it all and getting everything going and helping arrange getting everything together and making the podcast version so that people that can't make it at this time due to time zone differences or work or whatever else can still enjoy the show. And all I can say is, here's to 2,000 more episodes. I could have said 200, but I really think at the rate the Coco community is going right now, innovating on everything and coming out with new hardware, new software, it's actually at a faster clip than it's been in years. I'm going for 2,000.
Nice.
And you know what? By the end of that 2,000th episode, we might actually have Nitrous 9 ease of use out of beta.
Oh, that's a prediction.
What an optimist.
How it started, how it's going, how it will end. What? What? Oh my God, that was overload. Oh my God. Brian Joyce is the creative genius behind that, and obviously everybody else contributed to that. I am totally moved by all of that. Thank you, everybody, especially Brian. My God.
Yeah, that was a lot of work for him.
That was a lot. It's.
I mean, he had to forcefully watch every episode. I can't imagine having to do that without causing severe brain damage. So.
And Curtis, you covered so many good points on your thing that sometimes people just can't think of all that stuff, and you took your time to bring all that out for what some of us might have missed in our thank yous to Steve.
I brought it all up as good as Mark's cat. That's all I can say.
My God. That was a lot. And we've been joined by Boat of the Amigos Retro Gaming. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm joining you from my phone. The internet has knocked, or the snowstorm has knocked out the internet here in West Virginia. So forgive me if my audio quality isn't as good as it normally is. But I'm glad to be here.
West Virginia has internet?
Yeah, we just got it. We got it a couple weeks ago.
Usually,
they just
Did
had
you
it
check the
installed.
string?
Yeah.
Did you check the
Listen,
string
guys,
between the tin cans?
I know that 24.4 is all the rage, but we've got 56K, so beat that.
Ooh, wow!
You better sign up for the latest package from Frontier Communications.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Oh man! And thanks for that piece you guys did, John. You and Aaron.
Oh, no
That
problem.
was
We're
awesome.
glad to do it.
That was awesome.
Glad to do it.
Everybody, what a great group we have. It's awesome. I do need to take a potty break. And Ron Delvo,
Are you going to do it live like Grant?
Ron, do you need a potty break too? Okay, Ron needs a potty break. I need a potty break. We're going to find a commercial break, and we'll be back with more Coco Talk, with more celebrations. And that was so much to soak in. We probably need to have a few discussions on all of that stuff. So we'll be back after these words, everybody. Man, I am totally touched. Thanks, everybody.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, and this is Jacob Moore. Gotcha. And we are the Forest of Doom guys, and the Coco Forever guys, and we're at Coco Fest, and we love Stevie Stroh.
Imagine a different world. A world where Tandy Corporation has the upper hand. Where the Coco surpassed all competitors. And all you have to do is travel back in time without making a single mistake.
Coco Forever.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
You definitely earned this office.
Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
You want to grab some food before we head back and look at that Alt Reality OS9 module?
It's only 40 years past due, but yeah, sure.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
What's going on, everybody? Stevie Stroh, and I want to say thank you for continuing to watch and listen to Coco Talk. We love doing this show. We think we put together a pretty good show for you, but this show could be better with your help. So if you would like to send a feedback, a comment, a suggestion, a show topic, or maybe even your own little segment or bumper, then send it to us via email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live. This show would be nothing without you. Love to hear from you.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
Hi everybody, this is Siri, Apple's personal assistant and beatbox professional. You're watching Coco Talk with the original gamer, Stevie Stroh.
You're off, Siri. I was here first.
Oh my God. Oh man, that was Brian Joyce. You are amazing. The time you had to have put into watching all those episodes and just finding and literally he was maybe able to scrape about 1 to 2 seconds of quality from each of those 200 shows, and that was it. Really, I mean, that was the best moments of the past 200 episodes. So I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate he could find those 2 to 3 seconds per show that he did that. But the amount of time to do that, oh my God, that is so freaking awesome. That is cool. Oh, and for everybody who had a piece to contribute to that, thank you. I appreciate that. Very touching. It was great to hear from everybody.
We appreciate you, Stevie, a lot.
And the feeling is mutual.
I had a few minutes while I was making dinner.
I snuck my bit in before one of my high score attempts.
That is so awesome. We do have another segment that we're going to be doing where I didn't know what Brian Joyce was doing. That was a covert operation. So I had no idea what he was going to do or how it was going to play out. But I also had I had reached out to anybody who wanted to submit some of their favorite memories, and I do have another piece that we'll look at, which is favorite memories submitted by the community and some of my own favorite memories as well. So we're going to play that, and then we'll have a nice discussion where we're just free flow, talk about things that we remember, things that we enjoyed, things we're looking forward to. Before we get to that presentation, I will ask this question one last time. We'll put it to a vote on the panel, and we'll put it to a vote in the audience. But I have prepared this thing and I've been wanting to show this for a while. And what this is this is my first Coco video, which was released in July of 2015. Because somebody asked me that not too long ago. I think it was Nick Marotta. I said, "What was your first video?" And I had to think about it, and I had to find it. And so what had happened was before I started doing gameplay videos, I just assumed nobody's going to know what a Coco is or what a Coco was. Nobody's going to remember this weird machine. So let me Steve-splain this to the world. Let me do a little PowerPoint presentation and just kind of let people know what this thing was like. At this point in time, I had not seen or touched or heard or smelled a color computer in 35 years. I didn't know there was a community. I didn't know about eBay. I didn't know anything. This was me pulling stuff out of the ether, trying to just remember stuff. And I created this presentation. So I thought what would be interesting if we do show this was how close was I to the mark based on my recollections, and what did I get wrong, and how far have we come since then, 6 years ago, right? So we can talk over this, but it is 25 minutes of me talking, which is pretty self-indulgent, and I realize that. So if you guys don't want to hear it, I'll put it to a vote on the panel and everything else, and we can stop it at any given time. But who is in favor of we'll watch it, we'll react to it, and we can stop at any time? Anybody in favor of playing it? Okay.
I'm all in favor of making fun of your old video.
Okay.
But and if it gets too long, we can always declare asparagus.
There we go. Fair enough.
I do have one question.
Yes, James.
Are you sure you pulled it out of the ether and not something else?
Yeah. So, because when I started my YouTube channel, I hadn't done Coco stuff. I was doing Minecraft. I was doing some stuff on MAME. I was doing some emulated Nintendo and Sega stuff. And so I figured, man, I really want to do some Coco games, but I don't know if anybody's going to know what Willis is talking about. So let me set the stage. Especially since I had most of my viewers were younger viewers at the time because of Minecraft and stuff. I figured I have to explain this to the world, right? And also, as I'm sitting here complaining that it's 25 minutes long, it was really longer, and I edited it down because at that time I was trying to make like 10 to 15 minute videos. I was trying to do the whole YouTube format and get in and get out, and I was trying to find the unedited version, which I can't find. That will be something that'd be neat to look at sometime later on, because I know I probably shaved 10 minutes off of my meandering, or whatever you want to call the word. All right. So if nobody objects, and like you say, you guys can call us asparagus at any time. Your microphones will be open, so feel free to troll me or anything else like that. And trust me, I cringe at my old videos too. So we're going to play it, and then we have more to come. But this really was my first video on the Coco, and doing Coco videos, for better or worse, is why we're all here today. So this is.
We have a request from Frodo in the chat room. Curtis, can you correct his errors?
I don't know if I have that much time.
Listen, we're trying to keep the show short today.
It's only a 6-hour show. We don't have that kind of time.
Yes.
I just want to say, just Mike in the chat mentioned he said we can all blame Stevie for the high cost of Cocos and Coco stuff on eBay now. So
listen, no, but the other thing, you guys are thanking me, and which I appreciate, but I also want to give thanks to what my original inspiration was too. So CoCoTALK was inspired by Coco Fest. Coco Fest was inspired by me listening to the Coco Crew podcast. So I want to acknowledge the originators of the Coco movement, right? So when it used to be just John Linville and Neil Blanchard, it was just two guys once a month who would champion Coco Fest. You guys got to come to Coco Fest. And this was back in like 2015, 2016-ish. And at that, I had never heard of a Coco Fest. I had never been to a Coco Fest, but apparently the attendance in Coco Fest was steadily declining, and it was seeming like the community would possibly burn out. And so a couple of people took it amongst themselves to say, hey, let's try to rally the troops and let's get people interested in the Coco. Let's get people interested in Coco Fest. And they are the sole reason why I came to Coco Fest, because I listened to them every month for almost a year, and they're the guys who made me want to come, and the rest is history. So as much as you guys are thanking me, which I appreciate, and I appreciate all you because this show is a team effort, I want to acknowledge what my original inspiration was. So you guys were, those guys were it. So Coco Crew inspired me to come to Coco Fest, and Coco Fest and the community has inspired us to do this show. So there we go. So here we go. Get ready for cringe time. Here is my first video ever, and feel free to speak freely and honestly about how bad it is. Hey, what's up, everybody? Stevie Stroh, the original
Oh my gosh,
gamer,
who's that
and
young,
I'm really excited
hitter?
to share something with everybody today. What we are looking at here on the screen in vivid rainbow beautiness is my first computer, my original computer, the single piece of equipment that literally changed my life and made me the person who I am today. And maybe some of you who know me might think that's not a good thing. However, this computer that we're looking at, the Radio Shack TRS-80 color computer, or as those of us who owned and loved them like to call this, the Coco. So the color computer was one I got when I was a kid. I got my computer in 1981, I think. I was probably around 14 years old. A lot of things were happening in the world that really inspired my mind to Yeah, I be used to interested dye in my not hair only before I video said, you know games, what, but I'm old, I computers just have to and deal with technology. it. So let's take a little stroll down memory lane and talk about a lot of things that happened
Only your
in the 80s, and
hairdresser's
then we'll get
supposed
into
to know.
my favorite computer. So in the 80s, what the heck was going on in the 80s here? Well, I'll tell you what was going on. One of the things that was happening 15 years was ago, arcade Terry games says. were happening. And games like Space Invaders and Asteroids and Pong, and then later on Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and all these games, these were things that literally never existed before. These were new, exciting, amazing things. We had never seen video screens. We had never seen computer graphics. We'd never heard this computerized music, and the ability to use a joystick and play a game was exciting, especially to me. I was maybe 12 years old when this stuff happened, and my brain was like just
Wow.
exploded
We liked it.
because it was just so amazing and intriguing to me. So when these games came out, and the only place you could play these games were in the arcades. You had to go to an arcade, or maybe there's one in your bowling alley or in your convenience store or drugstore, but you had to leave your house and you had to go there and you had to spend money to play these games. That was the only way you could do it. So the popularity
Back
of
in
these
my day,
led
we used to have to go
home
outside and play games
systems.
and
And
uphill
one of
in
the
the
Uphill
snow.
both ways in the snow
Pong machine.
with
That
no
Pong had
shoes.
two paddles. You turned
Also,
the
Stevie, I
paddles
like
and
how much you
moved a
talk with
little
your
line
hands
up
when
and
you're
down
a
the screen,
tiny
and a
little
square
postage
ball
stamp
bounced
on
back
your
and
screen
forth,
here.
and it was poor man's video tennis, but it was amazing at the time because we'd never seen it before. A lot of people had Pong machines, and that's all you could play was Pong. And you played Pong, and you were happy.
We were happy, damn it.
Pong led
When
to
I was a
one of the
kid,
most
we ate
famous
dirt.
game systems of all time.
We
This is
loved
the
it.
Atari 2600 video computer system. The Atari system gave us joysticks, still had paddles, and instead of it being only one game that was built in,
We had two
you
colors.
could plug in a cartridge and you could change the
Black
games.
and white.
And so because Atari was making arcade systems, real arcade machines, they knew how to do this, right? So they built in a scaled down version of some of the technologies that were in the bigger arcade machines. But because it was meant for the home, because it was meant for television, because it was meant to be somewhat affordable, it didn't have the same level of processing power, of graphical power. So it was a much more watered down experience than the arcade, but it was a fun experience nonetheless, right? So having an Atari system was the second best thing to being in the arcade. This led to home computers or personal computers, another thing that never existed before, that nobody had seen, heard of, used, or touched before, and certainly didn't have them in their house. So the idea of a home computer, of a personal computer, was a brand new thing, was a very exciting thing to happen. And so all this stuff was happening all around the same time, and it was a perfect age for me because my brain was like a sponge. I was totally into this, I was excited about it, I was turned on by it, and I wanted to absorb this and be as much a part of this
revolution.
TV, your brain is still like a
And
sponge.
let's look at one of the first, most infamous
Or like a
computers,
loofah.
the Apple II computer. Came out in
Apple.
1977 for $1,300 with a mere 4K.
Look, I was actually
RAM.
using the internet
Not
to
a
look
lot of
up
memory.
facts on this
You can
video.
see here it was connected.
Yeah, what happened? Now we know how Marco
Included
got
the
here.
green screen. These were
He
some
put
floppy
Marco
drives that you
bait
could
out.
attach to the side of it. So
How
this
did you
whole
figure
system
that
here
out?
might have been $1,500. Look at some of the specs here. 4K minimum RAM. You had 6 colors maximum on your screen. You had a cassette interface. This was basic stuff. Another thing you notice here too is that it came with BASIC. BASIC was a programming language, and in these old computers, about all you could do was turn them on and have a little prompt and write your own software. If you didn't,
We got a call for
software to load
asparagus
and run,
on the Apple there
was
from
very little
Erica.
else you could do with computers. And so this had its own version. Another very
Triple
popular
asparagus.
computer for this time was the Atari 800 computer, made by Atari. Pretty high-end system, really nice colors, really nice graphics, great music. This had dedicated gaming hardware. It had music synthesizers built in. It could make its own music. It could play music in the background, so the games had a nice musical feel to them, similar to the arcades. It had a lot of colors on screen. It also had a hardware chip that allowed it to create sprites, and sprites were what were used in the arcade.
Oh
Your
my
sprite
goodness.
is
Then
your
you have the
character
Coco.
that moves on the screen. And sprites, to be done properly,
Which had
you
none
had
of
to
this
have
stuff.
dedicated hardware to do that. A lot of the home computers did not have sprite hardware, so it was all done in software. So it was slower, it wasn't as good, but this had sprite hardware. So this was really a fancy gaming system with a keyboard, is what it boiled down to. But it was pretty cool. Some really cool games around this time. Here we have my computer. Radio Shack released the Color computer, 1980. It came out for about $400 when it hit the streets. The first model had 4K of RAM. The one I bought a year later, I think, had about 16K of RAM. And we'll get more into some of the technical aspects of this as I go through here. Another really cool computer system for the time was the Texas Instruments released a computer. This was a model known as the TI-99-4A. I remember playing with these things in the stores. Really good colors, really good graphics, great music and sound. Also had sprite hardware for games. And it had a cartridge slot over here on the right hand side. And one of the things that it had was a speech synthesizer cartridge you could plug into it. And I remember hearing some of the games, and it had like this robotic voice, like the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. It had this real, war games type voice. That was a cool feature because most computers and most video games did not talk. They did not.
Have you guys? Has anybody learned anything yet? As I'm Steve explaining the 80s
A
to
few of
you.
them had robotics.
Any revelations here?
Features. So this was one of the things that model had. And this computer here, the
confused. Did you
Commodore
read a bunch of
64,
docs
which
for
came
this?
out
'Cause you normally
a
aren't
couple
in
years
for that.
later, is very beloved. Commodore 64 was an amazing computer. One of the first computers to come out with 64K of RAM as its base amount of memory, which was an insane amount of memory for this point in time. Really good amount of colors on screen, really good music, again, sprite hardware, incredible games that could be played on this thing as well as being a computer. This was a picture of my computer. This was the book. This book here is how I learned
look
how
at
to
that template.
program the computer.
And I just had I just found stuff like on
14.
eBay. I was
Wasn't
Googling pictures of the Coco.
Exceptional student.
'Cause
I
What's
that?
really didn't
You didn't
like
have an
math.
actual Coco
One of the
this
time.
turnoffs for
No.
me was
What's
when
that
I heard
keyboard
computers
template
were
for?
I
going
don't
to
know.
School and computer classes
Master
were
key, if I
available.
remember.
I was interested, but
There
then
was
I
a
was
thing for
told,
doing shortcut
what,
of
if you wanna
keywords
be,
for basic
in
and
a
stuff.
computer class, you got to be good at math. And then all of a sudden I was turned off because I hated math. Math was my least favorite subject, so I never took a class. But like everything I've done with computers, I'm pretty much self-taught. I got one, I learned how to use it, I absorbed it, and just got better over time. So this book right here, Getting Started with Color Basic, and look at the little picture of a little friendly dude, a little smiley, happy computer. This was very easy to read, very easy to understand. It was step by step, and I learned how to program BASIC. I learned how to program a computer. I was actually
It's still one of the
making
best
my own
basic
video
manuals ever
games
written for any platform.
Oh, it
over
was
time by
incredible
doing
manual.
this. So why did they call this computer?
I didn't
the
even know
color
I wanted
template
it.
idea was
Because
pretty
all
good,
these
wasn't it?
computers could
Yeah.
generate color at this
The
point
one
in
good
time.
thing
Radio
about
Shack went
chiplet
out of its way
keyboard.
to say, hey, this is
Yeah.
a color computer.
Yep.
Well, here's a little picture. Here's a little reason why.
How
These are
many
two different
IT
advertisements
careers
from
did that Getting
some Radio
Started with
Shack
Color
computer
Basic
systems.
book launch?
Historically,
Quite a
Radio
few.
Shack's also been in the computer game for a long time, but their computers were not.
Have you guys seen enough of
personal
this?
computers.
Have you seen enough, or call asparagus enough, or more?
Do you get to your game at some point? Or
Let's see.
I'm not trying to
This is
shorten
me talking about the Coco, and again, I didn't know anything about it, so I had to Google all these pictures. That was a picture of me and my first Coco. talking about adventure games, just finding different pictures, talking about stuff. This was my second. This was my white Coco. And then talking
So you're
about the
calling
different
asparagus on yourself.
Yeah, talking about the different models, and then this is yes. So technically, this right here, bonus clip, first game I ever owned, Caterpillar Attack, Tom Mix software. So this would become the template for my early Coco video games, and so a lot of my
Play that part. We can hear your witty
roll it.
banter.
It was very quick. It was literally really quick. So we'll try that right now.
We have a masochist in the
Like
chat that
about
wants you
this
to
and
keep
what
it
you would
going.
like to see next. So thank you for
Okay.
watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out. So this is Caterpillar Attack. And I'm moving a little dude around. And I see here that one of my caterpillar heads is stuck in a mushroom. That's a cool feature. Let me see if I can get you out, dude. Spiders move. Here's a little preview of what color computer games look like. This was my first one that I owned. It wasn't the first one I played because I used to play them in the store all the time. I would go to the store and hang out and play the games there. But this was the first game I owned on my first computer.
So your Coco already
It's
had
called
a. How did you do this?
Caterpillar
How did you do
Attack
this
by
technically?
Comic Software.
Emulator.
It brings back a lot of memories
Oh,
for me.
okay.
So I hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed that
VCC.
review. I'm looking forward to seeing how many people are interested in seeing this series about this classic nostalgic computer and what these cool, interesting games from the 80s look
good.
like and
For the
played
first,
like.
show,
So if you
that's
like
good.
it and you
The
want to
first
see
video.
more, subscribe.
So how
to
much
the YouTube
feedback
channel.
did you get on
Give
that
me a
first
like,
video,
put the
Stevie,
thumbs
at the
up,
time?
and leave a comment and tell me what you want to see next.
Well, I'm still getting comments on that video today. What did I get originally? Honestly, I don't remember because that was 6 years ago, and I don't feel like pulling it up right now. But there's been a fair amount of feedback, and like I say, I still get comments on that video today. If somebody will come across that and find it, so yeah, that was my first computer too. So, the thing is that when I started this journey of doing Coco videos, I knew nothing but what I could remember, And the thing that I've learned is that even though I think we all felt like we were pretty savvy, even a lot of us were kids back then, but we just all felt like really informed. Like I knew what was in my computer. I knew it had a Motorola processor. I didn't know what the hell that meant, but I knew it had that. You know what I mean? I knew it had certain limitations. I didn't know the technology, but I knew that Coco didn't have sprites. Coco didn't have hardware scrolling. Coco didn't have sound chips. And so I knew that if there was a game on the Coco and it looked as good as a game on the Atari, that whoever did that was a badass because they knew how to make that machine do things that technologically it wasn't supposed to be able to do. I knew that much, even as a kid, and I had a profound appreciation for that. You felt like you were the underdog when you owned a Coco because all the cool kids had the Ataris and the Apples and the Commodores. And so it was like battle of the nerds. Who's the biggest nerd? I'm a bigger nerd than you are because I've got a better computer. My computer can kick your computer's butt type stuff, And so you always felt like you were already in this underclass. When you're in the bottom of the nerd ladder, that's a pretty low place to be when you got 3 rungs of nerds above you peeing on you. But I always had an appreciation for what the computer was, and more importantly, what these people did. Like people that nobody ever heard of before became celebrities. To me, the name Steve Bjork, he was like one of the original rock stars. Every game he ever made, I never met him, didn't know who he was, what he looked like, but I just imagine this guy as like freaking, David Lee Roth. He's just the Coco rock. There was certain people and companies and names that were just synonymous with making awesome games. And so I felt like I knew a lot as a kid. I knew how to program, so I felt I was fairly tech savvy. But I realized that there's so much I had zero clue of, and I continue to learn. And that's what I love about hanging around everybody is I glean pieces of knowledge on hardware and circuitry. And I never would have known what a DAC was, a 6-bit DAC, and and this and that and the other, and a PIA and all this other crap. This stuff I wouldn't have known about. And I'm certainly not an expert, but I have a deeper understanding, and that has come to me in the past 5-6 years between listening to podcasts and talking to other people and things like that. I'm a lot more educated. By no means an expert in any one area, but I feel like I'm a lot more informed. And I love the machine, and I continue to appreciate it. But yeah, it was interesting when I made that video. So
Yeah, and then in that video, that was before you really knew much at all about the Coco 3, because you got out of the Coco market before they came out, so you had no idea how much more advanced it was, etc.
Yeah, learning. I have a whole new respect for the Coco, because I think the last thing I said in that video was, there was a Coco 1, there was a Coco 2, and then later on they released a Coco 3, and the only thing I remember different was it had 16 colors, but everybody had 16 colors, so who cares, right? That's kind of like, that was my only thought I could say about the Coco 3, and that's just from my own experience. I remember not being blown away by the Coco 3 when it first came out, because honestly, some of the first generation games were not totally amazing. Even though they had more colors, they seemed kind of slow. I just wasn't wowed by the first wave of Coco software, and then that's when I got my Tandy 1000 and kind of moved on and hadn't looked back. So my initial impression of the Coco 3, other than it looking cool and having a really awesome monitor, meh. So, but now I know the stuff that's continuing to be done on it. The Coco 3 is an amazing, amazing machine, next to the MC10, of course. So,
so this was before Predator came out.
No, really. So yeah, that was literally my first Coco video. I've got over 200 gameplay videos that I've done, probably closer to 300, and and it's all part of history, right? So cool. Any other thoughts on that, or you want to move on to favorite memories?
Well, I can tell you, back in the day, long before I joined you guys, I was searching for YouTube videos on Coco because I was feeling nostalgic for it. And so first, sorry, Stevie, first I came across Martin Lee or Marvin Lee?
Marlon Lee. He's a legend.
So I found his videos and I watched
today.
I watched a bunch of those, and I was looking for more, and that's when I found yours, and I started watching those. And then shortly afterwards is when I found you guys, and the rest is history. But yeah, so your videos were definitely pivotal to me, finding you guys and being part of the community. So thank you.
Yeah, some of the things I remember too was being a little bit critical without knowing some reasons why. Like I remember looking at like Color Robot Attack, one of the image producer games. And I was like, this one this was not the best Berserk clone that Coco had. It's kind of low res, it's kind of simple. And so I was being a little critical of it compared to a game that required 16K. And so I didn't know like some of the hardware limitations of the machine. Like, this was designed for the first generation Coco that only had 4K, and you had to squeeze in the program and your graphics screen. The graphics screen takes 1.5K of memory because there's only one bucket of memory, and it has to be used for everything, for the code, the variables, and the screen, right? And all your sound data and everything. It's all got to fit in one bucket. And I didn't understand that. So I was just like, this one kind of sucked. I was like being like, this one kind of sucked. Pinball really sucked. And this game sucked. And, and so I was being kind of critical, just comparing them to, games that would come out years later. It's like any platform, the longer it's around and the more people get to learn it and push it, they get better. Like you look at any game system, look at games, the first wave of Atari games made by Atari, first party titles were all, blinking squares, variations of blinking squares on the screen. And then you got like iMagic and Activision that really pushed that envelope because they had time to learn the platform. And so that's true for all vintage systems, but so I remember being a little critical, not understanding things, and then obviously not always having my facts right. And I had games I didn't even know how to play the games when I was recording them. And
that's when my comments started.
I didn't even know what I was doing or what the goal was or anything. So yeah, I can look back with great humility and embarrassment on probably the first year of my Coco gameplay videos. But listen, it's part of history, right? So you got to suck a lot just to gradually suck a little less each day. And my goal is to do that every day, suck a little less than the day before. So
Terry Steen mentions he's found CoCoTALK because he saw you playing Balloon Fire on one of your game videos.
Oh, yeah, and I found a few that I played that were Terry Steen games before I knew who Terry Steen was. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's what started me on this journey, and that's what I think ultimately got us all on this same show together. So it's been pretty awesome. Any other thoughts or comments, opinions on that before we move on to
Stevie was making history and making memories.
Making history and making memories. Yeah, it's true. I mean, when you think about it now, and when I think this and when I say this, I know it can kind of sound kind of, I don't know, whatever. But I think we are making future history right now, because all we've been doing is we've been celebrating the past. We've been celebrating a machine from 1980. So we're celebrating previous history, but there's so much new history that's been made in the past 5-6 years with new hardware and new software and all these events and all these shows and everything like that. So I think we continue to make new history every single day, every single week, with all the new games. It's hard to imagine all the new games that have come out in the past 6 years and the things that people are making the Coco do now. That, we got one of the guys is on this panel right now, Nick Marentes. He's made some incredible games, especially starting off like Popstar Pilot, where he's making the Coco look like an Amiga, and it's just, how do you do it? And, there are people who have the time and the patience and the talent to do that. And it just makes you appreciate the machine more, and it makes you appreciate the people who spend the time pushing that envelope and creating these quality experiences for us. So I think we're going to continuously make new history. So we're celebrating the past, and we continue to kind of forge the future. And I'm really proud to be part of this whole ride,
Yep, it's helped encourage an active community, not just a community of nostalgia. It's not just about remembering everything, although we do a lot of that as well. But it's also, pushing the machine to limits and doing new things, discovering new ways of doing things, etc. Like, whoever thought we would have distributed Coco games on an SD card or a CD-ROM.
Right. Or digital downloads, through the itch.io and things like that, And we're not that far away from being able to download these digital things straight to our Coco, because Coco networking is within our reach, So,
yeah, Todd Wallace just released, he's got it up on Discord there, a utility that will actually get the live weather for your location on the Coco.
Wow. Yeah.
We can actually melt a cassette with speed.
With speed. That's right. We have now, we're pushing the speed of tape to like 200 times its original design. So we're having to come up with thermal dampeners and things like that to help insulate the temperature of these things so we don't burn them up. So, yeah.
Boat, you were trying to say something here?
Yeah. The thing that I love about this show is, first of all, I never have anything going on Saturday afternoons. So this has been a perfect way for me to spend every Saturday afternoon learning more about something I love. But the thing that I like about this community is, like, I just joined the call maybe about a month ago. I've been watching for forever, but I just thought I'd take it. And nobody gave me a test. Nobody was like, well, you're not really, a big enough Coco fan to actually be on the call. You're fine in the chat, but let's not have you on here. You guys have just been totally. Yeah. And so I really appreciate that, because I think a lot of communities, they only want the experts that are actually on the call. And the fact that I don't really know anything about the Coco, I just love the Coco. And I was able to join the call and take part in the conversations. That really means a lot.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
So you said you had nothing going on Saturdays?
Yeah. Also, I have nothing.
Everyone else, neither do we.
Yeah.
Fit right in.
It is a commitment, and most of us should be committed, but we're here. No, you guys have been awesome.
We're here.
Yeah, and like I say, I feel like over the past 6 years, I've become a lot more informed. I'm much more understanding of the hardware. I'm not an expert, but I feel competently comprehensive of many pieces of this system now, where I just continue to appreciate it. I'll never say I'm the guy who knows everything about anything, but I think collectively we've all shared enough knowledge and cross-pollinated enough information where if you hang around long enough, you will get to know things pretty well. It just through osmosis, And that's kind of what's been happening. I could talk about being a sponge, right? It's been a great 6 years sponging knowledge and experiences and information from everybody in the community, So that's been kind of cool.
And one of my favorite parts of the show and the community in general is the interactivity, especially on CoCoTALK here, where it's live. You can get people on the panel who have not that experience with Coco, like Boat or Stevie at the beginning of his videos, or you get tons of people in the chat, and we actually do interact with them. And one of the big pluses of the show is the interactivity. It's not just playing like a TV set and you just passively consume the content. You actually get involved whether you get on the panel or not. And that was something that I tried to help push at the beginning myself personally, because I've been watching Twit and some of the CNET shows where they had active chat rooms while the show, and the host would respond to it. So you felt like you're part of the show, even if you're not literally on. And I think that's a big plus for us.
Absolutely.
It's more like the user groups of old, where you go to the user group.
And And so for those who aren't aware, when we say Coco, Coco is a broad spectrum term that's describing a lot of machines, right? The Tandy Color Computer 1, 2, and 3. We're talking about the MC10. We're talking about the Alice. We're talking about the Dragon. We're talking about Brazilian clones. There's a lot of things that follow under the generic blanket term of Coco because they're all related somehow, right? So even though we call the show CoCoTALK, and there has been some great running gags on Nitrous 9 and the MC10 and stuff, it's all family, right? And yeah, it's okay to make fun of your relatives, right? You know, I know my wife makes fun of me all the time. I make fun of my kids, you know, so just because you're making fun of something doesn't mean it's not part of your family, doesn't mean you don't love it. But honestly, the MC10, while that was a fun running gag for a while, the whole doorstop thing, we have seen hands down how amazing that machine is with all these added hardware things like the MCX32 and the MCX128 and in that community, the MC10, like Jim Gary is like the superhero of the MC10 community. He's done so much stuff. And again, it's like inspiration, right? So one person will start doing something, somebody else will see that, and then they'll get inspired, and then somebody else will get inspired from that. So I just see this inspiration as just been this giant snowball. And the more time goes on, the bigger the snowball gets, and the bigger the community gets, and the bigger the inspiration gets, and the more things that happen all the time now. It's like I keep thinking, when is it going to end? And at this point, I'm thinking it won't. It just won't, right? So the Coco nucleus it continues to expand. This is the Big Bang, and the universe continues to grow. The Coco universe will just never stop. And it's really been exciting to be at that nucleus, the Renaissance, the Coco Renaissance that started around 2015, you know. And I think the future is so boundless at this point.
And I want to read a couple of comments. Ben Drake's Explore VR in the chat says, we haven't pushed the Coco to its limits yet. There are more innovations to come, I'm sure. A brain interface, for instance, so I can control buzzard bait with my mind. Here's to the future. And he's one of the ones literally doing that because he has his whole VR system set up to hook up with, you know, the Dragon and Coco stuff. And he's played like Gatecrasher and Phantom Slayer and Androne using it, which is awesome. Tom Eric Gunderson says, I really like seeing how Simon Jonason and others are still pushing where the Coco can go with all the sound and graphics trickery. It's exactly true, too. Simon's done some incredible demos. He's got a game in development. I mean, he's experimenting with it. Nick Morenz has done some of the same things. It's just there's a lot of people pushing the limits, and it's amazing to see. If we'd had that knowledge back in the day, how much more successful would the Coco have been, you know, compared with some of the other 8-bits? But I mean, I guess you can literally say it about all the 8-bits because everybody's, you know, when you have the time to settle down and actually, you know, play with the hardware right to its utmost, you can push it way beyond people that were trying to hit deadlines back in the day.
Yeah. So it's been, and it's hearing firsthand or secondhand sometimes just some of the histories from people who were there, at least as they recall it, because, you know, time can sometimes change reality from what we remember to what it was. But still, even hearing a secondhand account that's 90% accurate from somebody who was there is still pretty good. You know, it's been really neat. It's just.
And as I mentioned in my little clip there at the end of Extructus Productions stuff, there, one of the things I'm proudest about on here is the interviews we've been able to do with like the image producers and Steve York and stuff. And the one I'm proudest of is we actually got a chance to, you know, get on tape, you know, some of the stories from Dale Lear before his untimely passing. So I'm really proud that we did that.
Yeah, and Simon Jonason was one of the ones too. Simon Jonason and Lee Patterson were some of the first wave of new Coco games. So Bouncy Ball came out at the 2016 Coco Fest, and Simon had helped Lee do that. Simon's been like a champion and just a community helper all along.
A mentor.
A mentor, that's a good word for it, yeah. And so we had an interview with Simon and Lee Patterson a long time ago. We've talked to like John Strong and Alan Huffman on some of the stuff that they've been collaborating on and stuff. So yeah, it's been really neat to not only talk to the people from the old days of Coco, but to be able to talk to the people of the new days of Coco as well. There's like multiple generations of creative geniuses going on here. So cool. All right, well we're gonna roll the next clip, which is the Coco Memories montage, which is a compilation of user submitted content and some more of my rambling and babbling, and mics will be open. Feel free to comment if you need me to pause, rewind, anything like that. We'll keep it going. And thanks everybody for being here. This has been great, you know, just being able to reminisce and all that kind of good stuff. So let's go ahead and roll Coco Memories. Hey guys, it's Steve Strobridge, and for better or for worse, I am the responsible party for the show you are watching today, otherwise known as CoCoTALK, and it's been a really interesting journey. And as we're celebrating our 200th episode, as we are in our 4th year of doing this, and as we've just achieved so many things, I thought one of the things I would like us to do today would be to just kind of share some of our favorite memories. Coco generic memories, could be about the show, could be about anything that's happened in the community the past 4 years. All right, we're rolling. You say whatever you want to say, David.
Right, I want to go wrong.
Keep making faces at him.
Good morning, Coco Land. This is Brian Schubring with Music Man here at the Coco Fest. Having fun, fixing issues, and making things roll, and making lots of sound. Have a great day, guys.
So what are some of my favorite CoCoTALK moments?
Wow, it's been almost 4 years. We've been doing this for almost 200 episodes. 200 episodes now.
One of my favorite CoCoTALK moments?
Good morning. It's the last day of Coco Fest. And we're excited to be here, even on this last day. And it's sad in a way, but it's happy in another way that we're only 365 days from the next one. So glad to have met Stevie Stroh in the flesh, and hope to meet a lot more of you next time. But until then, let's have fun.
I kind of started YouTube with my kids to do Minecraft videos initially, but I knew I was going to do retro videos. I did some stuff on emulators. I did some MAME stuff. I did some like old console games, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do some Coco stuff, but before I do that, I'm going to have to make a video explaining to the world what a color computer is, because nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to remember, right? It was such an obscure thing.
Probably first up would be December 2019 when I joined the Discord. Wasn't really sure about it when I joined, but all the kids seemed to be doing it, and people were saying that there was a lot of interactivity and content.
Wasn't really sure.
So why not give that a shot? Turned out to be a pretty great idea.
I guess my big claim to fame is that I've been here since episode 1. I was so glad to join when Stevie put out the call for people to run up to Coco Fest in 2017. And I wanted to go, but there wasn't any way I could do it, but I could at least join and talk about it. And been here pretty much every time since.
Hi there, this is Mark Overholzer, and you're watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly talk show where you can join in. Hey, come watch us and see what's happening in the world of Coco. And don't miss next year's Coco Fest.
My second thought would probably be the first time I participated in Nick Marota's Game On Challenge. Generally pretty terrible at games, so I didn't really think I would ever bother, but it turned out to be a lot of fun, and I've found a lot of new games that I enjoy through that.
And it's a great community. This is a community has been built that's more than just meeting once a year. People that meet online and share ideas and content, and we talk, and we have CoCoTALK get together.
Another memory would have to be, of course, when I invaded the CoCoTALK panel itself after Stevie convinced me to be on the panel rather than just snark everyone from the YouTube chat.
And so the first Coco video I did back in 2015 was a little kind of PowerPoint presentation explaining what a color computer was. What were the times like back then? Brian Joyce. The origin of the old arcade games and some of the old home computers and things like that. So I thought I would kind of set the stage and provide some context for a series of color computer game videos that I started doing back in 2015.
Then, of course, there was April's Coco Fest virtual celebration. Since no one could get together for the real thing, it was pretty amazing to see that done as a tribute. A ton of great presentations there. Really the highlight of the year.
And little did I know what would come from that, right? And so I kind of look at YouTube, Coco on YouTube is kind of like a mirroring of like Coco was for my life, because I don't think my story is different than a lot of other people, where most of us would say the fact that we got into our TRS-80 or our Tandy machines, it kind of shaped a path we took in life, be it our career, our interests, and things like that. So for better or worse, I think a lot of people could say the Coco made them, or made who, or influenced who they are, who they would become. That was certainly true for me in my career, and it also became true in YouTube, because while yes, I did have a pretty good following doing Minecraft and other things, doing Coco on YouTube kind of made me on YouTube, and that really got discovered by the community, and a lot of things happened that I never really would have expected.
And probably my last interesting moment or memory would be the first time Curtis unexpectedly called me as a news link rather than just being on the panel. I wasn't really expecting any of that, and I wasn't really ready for it, and I'm pretty sure it showed, but that was kind of an interesting moment.
Anyway, congratulations, and fantastic, and thank you for your leadership, Stevie, and also thank the rest of us too, because I know we all make it up as we go. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, thank you. Let's hope for another 200 more.
So, congratulations, CoCoTALK, on 200 awesome episodes. Looking forward to the next 200. Long live the Coco family.
I'd say probably all-time favorite was watching Stevie Strobridge react to Nick Marenti's reacting to what may have been the first sort of mockumentary, the OS9 Ease of Use commercial starring Nick Marionettes. Stevie was laughing so hard at Nick laughing that it was just it was quite the moment.
It was infectious.
Can you hear it? Good day, mates. This is Nick Marionettes, author of such color computer
We never
titles
heard or saw this
as
before, so
Donut
this was like
Disaster,
first time reactions.
Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot.
Look
And
at
I
Nick's
am
face.
here today to tell you about
He
the
was at the
world's
Apple
most
Ozfest, too.
fabulous operating system, OS9. OS9 and its current incarnation, Nitrous 9, is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual. And yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS9, I expect my next game, Funstar, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
Oh my God!
Crikey.
Like, I didn't know there was a community. I didn't know anybody knew about this machine or remembered this machine. And some of my earliest, fondest memories and kind of these wow and pinch me moments were making a video on a game, and then sometime later getting a comment from the author of that game, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, insert game designer's name here, just commented on my video and said thank you for doing this video and everything else, and I was just like blown away. I'm like, wow, I never would have imagined this. So that was some of my first kind of wow moments.
That might have been my favorite, but in more recent times, my most recent favorite moment has to do with a communication I got from Rick Adams. He invited me to work on a project that him and Nick Marotta were working on.
Uh-oh.
It was another sort of mockumentary of sorts, so I was all in. And when it was broadcast, of course, it wasn't immediately obvious what the clip was about, but the person it was aimed at, in a very loving manner, of course, was there. And when watching Ken Reigard's reaction to the Nightmare Highway song, when he realized it was about him and his game, was
Thanks for doing this, Bruce.
Got some time to kill, might play a little Zaxxon.
You bet. Ken's in the top right.
Might double back to play a little Temple of Rum. Dungeons of Daggeroth, colored baseball. But none can hold a candle to the greatest of them all, Nightmare Highway.
That's funny.
Sure, I love my Sailor Man and Firefall. Go on a rampage for some super pitfall. Shanghai me into a game of rogue or demon attack. But sooner or later, you know I've got to come back. Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. It's got a road, and it's got a car. Dodge the furniture, and you'll be a pop star.
Okay.
Well, okay, maybe I just stick to the facts. To tell this truth, this game really ain't all that. Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. I used to bow down to the Donkey King. Grabber and Cashman used to be my thing. Megabug, Buzzard Bait, Sea Dragon 2. But none of those can satisfy me much as you do. Nightmare Highway.
Now, this video was made by Ken afterward.
Yes.
And this
Nightmare
is really
Highway.
great video, too.
Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway.
Man, look at that furniture. A lot of rogue furniture out there. Great
No love
ukulele
goes
work
up.
there.
Oh, thank you.
That's why I take the
Gentlemen,
toll
that
road
was
when I go to
that
Coco
was
Fest.
The world premiere of
There's
the
no love in
latest
those
hit
love
single.
seats, I
That
can tell
song
you.
that will never get unstuck from your head. Ken Reichert, what are your reactions to hearing that?
What I was saying is I'm kind of speechless and flattered that anyone would do a song about this little game that I made. Just
shouldn't we be giving thanks to the car wreck that started this?
Yes.
Terry Steen.
It all starts with Terry Steen, of course.
Right.
Yes. So
and that rogue furniture that some jackwagon in Southeast Ohio lit on the highway.
Jackwagon is the perfect description.
Yep. Yeah. And he's in the chat too, so he can chime in too.
Yeah. So that's the irony of it all, is that the video game was inspired by real life events, and now the song was inspired by the video game. I've become a big fan of the ukulele in my years in this community too. So.
Now listen to my story about a man named Stevie Stroh. OG making videos about the Tandy Coco. Playing lots of games, having loads of fun. The only problem was he couldn't get past level 1. He wasn't that good. Well, the next thing you know, his audience it grew. So Stevie got to thinking, I know what I'm gonna do. I'll get some folks together, we can talk about Coco Fest. And CoCoTALK was born, and now you know the rest of the story. 200 episodes, there's no counting for taste. We're sorry.
That evolved into me doing, when I didn't feel like recording a video, I'd say, oh,
that was awesome,
live
Nick.
stream it,
That was
just
great.
wing it, and just kind of play some games and do these marathons. So I did a number of these kind of live stream marathons many years ago.
And in the process of doing that, again, met some of the authors, especially some of the newer authors, like John Strong and Nick Marentes and a few other people that would like join the video stream and start chatting while we're playing these games. And while I'm playing these games, I'm like, oh my God, I have never heard of Nick Marentes, but here I am playing his game, and here he is chatting on my game, and John Strong's talking to me and all these people. And so I was just like, wow, that's really cool. And those kind of live streams and kind of meeting people kind of fed into then like the whole series of interviews. And there's like a good half a dozen to a dozen interviews that we did before CoCoTALK. The first one being Curtis Boyle. Curtis was one of the early people to find my videos on YouTube and start commenting and helping me get facts straight and filling in some blanks in my recollections and all kinds of stuff. So he became a great resource. And through developing that kind of relationship, we finally reached out, and he said, hey, I'd love to talk to you and show you some stuff. And we did an interview where he showed me all these cool game controllers that he had. So he was kind of my first interview. I've never done anything like that before. Did get to interview John Linville from the Coco Crew podcast, who was the first person to do any type of Coco broadcasting or Coco media. And I got to meet him and speak to him, met him at Coco Fest, interviewed him, got to talk to him about some of his games he was making, like Farfall and stuff like that. Legendary game designer Rick Adams, our first big celebrity legendary interview was Rick Adams.
Hi, this is Rick Adams, and I'm the author of Temple of Rom, Shanghai, and now Bomb Threat, and you're listening to Steve Show on CoCoTALK.
That was great meeting Rick and still knowing Rick all these years. Rick lined up an interview with us with Dale Lear, which was a great interview, and kind of somber one too, because unfortunately Dale passed a year or so after we did that interview. So I'm glad I got to meet him virtually at least, and I'm glad we have some of those memories saved for his story, for historical purposes and stuff. We got to talk to the image producers, who were some of the literal pioneers of making some of the software for the color computer, the early games, when the computer wasn't even finalized yet. But these guys were working on a prototype of the Coco, making some of the first programs ever to be released for the Coco, to kind of talk to them. That was really cool. We got to talk to Chris Latham, who made Donkey King and Sailor Man. Moving forward into some of the bigger stars, people like Ken Reichert and Terry Steen.
This is Ken Reichert, author of Nightmare Highway.
Hi, I'm Terry Steen, author of Balloon Fire and other amazing games on the color computer.
It's talking to Simon Jonason and Lee Patterson, some of the first wave of new Coco games that were coming out. John Strong and Alan Huffman did a great interview with them.
Hi, this is the award-winning Alan Huffman of Subby the Software.
Hey, I'm John Strong, the author of Bomb Squad.
We've got to speak to Sockmaster about doing all the Donkey Kong ports and the remastered and remixes versions. I've spoken to Tim Lindner many times over the years.
Hi, I'm Tim, and you're watching CoCoTALK Live. And I'm playing Daggereth online like that idiot from the book.
We even got to talk to Jerry Buckner of Buckner and Garcia of Pac-Man Fever fame. So there was a lot of these interviews that we were just kind of one-offs that we had done that completely blew my mind. On top of that, I learned about Coco Fest. Once I learned there was a Coco community and I learned about Coco Fest, I went to my first Coco Fest in 2016 and met real people, real coconuts, and really got my first sense of like, wow, there's people out there who are really into this. And so meeting a lot of people in person was great. And that was 2016, and I've been to 4 Coco Fests since. I found out about the first one there. I've gone to the first ever Tandy Assembly, another great event. I got to go to VCF Midwest for the first time in 2019, and all these events where you go to in person and you get to meet people in person. That whole weekend of hanging out with kindred spirits. Got to meet Simon Jonason at Coco Fest. Amazing.
Hi, this is Max Jackson live from Coco Fest. And listen to The Real Gamer, Steve Stroh.
Hey, this is Eric, and you're listening to CoCoTALK. Hi, this is Sean Wheatley, and you're listening to CoCoTALK with the original gamer, Stevie Stroh.
Of course, all of this has been kind of feeding into CoCoTALK that we've been doing for the past 4 years. And a lot of people have helped make this show what it is. And so I'm thankful for some people who have really been here and helped kind of move it into better directions and higher levels of quality and stuff. So I've got a lot of the show content and segment producers to thank. Like I got to start off with thanking Samuel Gimes for all of his Coco thoughts, because that's really taken the show out of the stratosphere.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. If you're using your color computer in Quebec and it stops working, is it now a Coco won't do?
We reached escape velocity, and we were able to leave the planet Earth and make our way to the stars thanks to Samuel Gimes. Rob Inman has done a lot of hosting. He's created great commercials and content for our show.
Baby, there's something I need to talk to you about. But now, everything is such a struggle. And if I'm being honest, you're really starting to show your age. Can I get the check, please?
Break up with 512K. Use 2 megabytes now with NitroOS 9 Ease of Use Edition.
Ken Reichert has created all these great fake Australian commercials.
Tired of switching your joystick between the left and right port? Want to change between different controllers? Well, Joey has got you covered. The Joey Controller Switch.
D. Bruce Moore has done so much. He's given us 2 theme songs. He's created so many games and media and entertainment for the Coco community. It's just absolutely amazing.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, and this is Jacob Moore. Gotcha. And we are the Forest of Doom guys, and the Coco Forever guys, and we're at Coco Fest. And we love Stevie Stroh.
Darren Ottery, Daz, who did Blue Monday for us on our virtual Coco Fest. That was absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
And Brian Joyce, who within our first year of doing CoCoTALK had already kind of figured out the pulse of this show and created all kinds of content for us, funny clips, created some best of episodes. And so early on, Brian Joyce was one of the first people to start seeing what was going on here and creating all this value-added stuff for us.
ESP 8266-01, RS-232, TTL, Wi-Fi network, 4-pin DIN, Fitbanger, DB9, PC, IP, DriveWire. Oh, I'm much happier breaking stuff.
Paul Thayer gave us an incredible theme song. Curtis Boyle's been here from the beginning, and he's done a lot. He's been here, and now he's like our main news guy, and so he's done so much. Nick Marotta, who's handling the Game On segment now for over a year, probably one of the most popular segments of the show. I really appreciate him just owning that and treating it so well.
Hi, it's Curtis Boyle, part of the CoCoTALK crew of people.
You are watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly video podcast.
Nick Marentes, who has basically, anytime he's had a new game in the past 4 years, we've debuted that game on this show, going back to Popstar Pilot, and then Gunstar, and then Pipes and Rally SG. All these games that he's been making, he's debuted them on our show, which was just a real honor for that to happen.
Tell me why did Tandy do that?
And he's also given us so many great segments, and he's influenced the quality and the professionalism of the show. He's given us great segments like Core Dump and our original Game On, talking about game development. Why did Tandy do that? So many things that Nick Marentes has given us.
Hi, it's Ron Delvaux, Timberman, and this is CoCoTALK.
Ron Delvaux came in here and just started talking about his collection in the Ron's Garage segment, and watching Ron's videos from his early club meetings and things like that. Alan Huffman has given us all kinds of musical zingers and has been around from day one, all kinds of cool sound bites. Mark Bosley being the host with the most. Like, Mark Bosley has streamed this show I don't know how many different times, and one of the greatest honors was to be able to meet Steve Bjork both through the show and in person. And Steve became a pretty regular part of the show, gave us a great segment on how to program in assembly language, teaching me and other people and creating this tutorials for forever. And he really helped us raise the bar on what the show looks like and how we run the show. He just gave us so many great suggestions, and even co-hosted the show. And that was one of my most proudest moments, when he co-hosted the show with Curtis Boyle. And it was just like another pinch me moment.
Hello, I'm David Ladd. Thank you for watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading live CoCoTALK show.
Speaking of co-hosts, we've had a number of them. I'm probably going to forget a few people as I go through all my thanks, but I think Grant Leedy was one of our first co-hosts, and then Rob Inman, and even Tom C. from Jersey co-hosted. Steve Bjork and Curtis Boyle have tag team hosting. Mark Bosley is basically is almost moving from backup to primary host. He's hosting almost as often as I am. Nick Marotta and David Ladd have guest hosted as well.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tim. Playing Daggerath like that idiot from the book. You're watching CoCoTALK.
And then in our 200 episodes, what have been some of my favorite? And of course, I'm going to forget someone or something. But when we first started talking about the speech sound cartridge and MAME and how that was going to be emulated, that goes back to like episode 11. And meeting Tim Lindner, I met him at Coco Fest, and he's been on the show many times. He's just a brilliant guy who's done so many amazing things for us. So I really enjoyed when he comes on and shares what he's got going on with us. The world premiere of Bomb Threat with Rick Adams, episode 17, Ron's Garage, Floppy Talk. Which has become a recurring theme and running gag. Forest of Doom, a great product that got released here. Paul Thayer's Timberman. We had a great episode talking about Brazilian clones. We had episode 49 became known as Serial Talk, and that's where the whole RS-232 TTL thing. Another great Bruce Moore production, Coco Forever. We launched that around episode 62. Around episode 63, the assembly language series began. We got about a dozen lessons in assembly. We had some really great guests throughout the years too, and again, I'm going to miss some or forget some, but Dennis Kitts of the mailing list and so many more things. Eric Critchlow. We interviewed Alan Battinger on episode 89, OS9 Forever. Frank Hogg. Getting to meet Ben Drakes for the first time on the show, the guy who was doing these VR videos. That was really cool. Dale Puckett, the debut of Gunstar on the show, meeting Marty Goodman. Fedor talking about the RMS system, which is something that never quite made it, but could have been something like a Coco 4 using Motorola chips. Coco Forever, we did a screening party where we invited people to watch the whole thing together. That was great. Having the 8-bit guy on, meeting David and Danny O'Connor, and having her play her Moog instruments on the show, or Moog as it's pronounced, live from Radio Shack. When Radio Shack reopened and rebooted, we had a live show from there. That was awesome. Paul Fiscarelli gave us Run Dino Run, a really cool game, and Timberbot and so many other things. Floyd Resler, Nick Marotta's birthday, talking to Bill Pierce. Episode 141 was our community celebration where we kicked off 2020 and just talked about all the cool things that were happening in the community through 2019. Meeting Christopher Mayhew, aka Reverend Fuzzy. We started our first Game On challenge on episode 146. That was a year ago. Chris Hawks from Hawksoft, great moment. Our 3-year anniversary is around episode 152. We get to talk to Erico for the first time and Darren Ottery for the first time, and that kind of fed into our virtual Coco Fest. Definitely the highlight of 2020 was episode 156, the virtual Coco Fest, and Darren Ottery really kicked off a really cool cover of Blue Monday being sequenced on color computers. Really memorable performance. Talking to Brett Gordon about Yados and his other multiplayer game stuff that he's working on. We had the live SpaceX launch in episode 162, Space Talk, talking about the Coco Pi project as it's been going on. Episode 164 we did that was called Back to Coco, where we were just really addressing questions where somebody's getting back to the hobby for the first time. We had a show about that. The premiere of Rally SG, the premiere of Pipes, Tom C's birthday, Glenn Dahlgren from Sundog Systems. Episode 175, MIDI Talk. Episode 176 through 180 brought us Septandy, and this is where we got to meet AC's 8-Bit
Well, you've done a
Zone
good job
and
reviewing,
Canadian
Stevie.
Retro Things, and Dinty from Dinty's Hideaway, and so many other people that we got to meet and talk to. Obviously, also meeting the Amigos Retro Gaming guys, great asset to the community. Episode 183, Rick Adams. We called this one "It Belongs in a Museum," where he just found all these Indiana Jones type archives of all the stuff he did for Tandy and Activision and stuff like that. That was really cool. Getting to meet Dave Shadoff and in AC's 8-Bit Zone, Canadian Retro Things. Somewhere along the line, too, I don't remember what episode it was, but Paul Shoemaker's Dungeon Crawl we got to talk about. There's been so many cool things in the space of the MC10 system, and there's a lot of people in that community doing stuff. All kinds of cool stuff going on in the Dragon world.
Boom! Scared you, didn't I? Hello there. It's me, Simone, and I'm here to say a big hello to original gamer Stevie Stroh. I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, but I tried regardless. So if it's not, please insert the proper way to say it now. Now, I hope you're having a fabulous time. Hope you're having a fabulous new year. Season's greetings, all the above. All the way from Melbourne to you, my darling. And
That's Nick's neighbor, by the way.
Congratulations on your talk show, CoCoTALK. Oh my God, that's so exciting. I don't think I'd ever be good at a talk show. I just don't have anything ever to say, ever. Just can never think of things to say. It's just just no words ever come out of my mouth. It's just very embarrassing.
Well, she did really good for having nothing to say.
My darling, I hope you're having a fabulous day. From me to you, bye.
Some extremely memorable moments involved some form of bodily function or movement, and so I don't remember the episodes, but the Bill Noble EMP will go down in history as a hugely memorable and humorous moment. Grant Leedy's literal live streaming on the air was great. Rick Adams' Nightmare Highway song was incredible. The fact that we've brought live and remote coverage from the past 4 Coco Fest, the past 2 to 3 Tandy assemblies that have happened, a handful of VCF Midwest events, and VCF West about a year ago. I really want to say thanks to Mikey Furman and Mark Overholzer and Tim Linder and Rob Inman, who set up a whole wing dedicated to the color computer and just brought it into the awareness of an event, and I'm sure a huge group of people that really weren't that aware of what the Coco was or what it was capable of, and they just demoed so many things from Nitrous 9 to new games to ported games like the Pac-Man and Donkey Kong transcodes and the Game Master cartridge, and we just showed off so many of the capabilities of that machine. Really did the Coco and the Coco community proud. Those guys did an incredible job. And I know I've forgotten things and I've forgotten people, and I do apologize, but I could not conclude this without saying that without a doubt, my all-time favorite memory of my entire career of doing YouTube and Coco broadcasting in this show would have to be episode 66, the Rage Quit episode. And that's all I have to say about that. But I just want to thank everybody who's been with
I win.
This
There you go.
this
See?
journey that we call the Coco.
They like you. They really like
It
you.
has been absolutely amazing and rewarding, and more things have happened than I could have ever imagined. And I just want to thank everyone who has been a part of that. So I'm going to close this with that little famous clip, that moment, the almighty Rage Quit.
Last episode of on Coco Talk.
Previously on
Now,
Coco
this
Talk.
week on Coco Talk, everybody else rage quits and leaves Steve hanging by himself.
I like that idea.
Steve will be talking off some bloop, 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 bloop.
Hanging out in the wind.
You didn't look mad on screen, though, Steve. You just kind of looked around a bit.
Look at Nick with the short hair. It's pre-dreamy Nick there.
So it wasn't like you threw anything or anything.
Do you
like
want to?
that.
Do you want to? Okay. Do you want to see the very end of the video?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
That'd be kind of funny.
The interesting thing is that if you're watching Stevie's camera down at the bottom, you can actually see him slowly start to melt down.
Yeah, well, you're going to see it in a second.
I was watching it. I was like, uh-oh, something's going to
That was the
happen.
voice of
And then the
Tom
headphones came off, and then I was like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
You can see he's breathing heavy.
Yeah, so right around here. Okay, so here's why I take the freaking headphones.
Look how red his face is.
When I hang up, I just hit a button, so it's not like I smashed anything or anything like that. But
You can
it's just like,
Steve's really thinking hard here. He's like, what the hell?
I know a video of Bill Bixby.
Oh,
with his
here it
eyes
goes.
closed
Here
before
he
he
goes.
metamorphosizes.
There goes the headsets.
Headset's just off at this point.
He's scratch. Oh, he's pissed.
No, just my
what
brain
you
was
do.
just gonna explode. That's all.
Are you itchy?
Aside from having the headphones on.
I think
It's
this
the
is when the
steam
rash
coming out.
started.
Yeah, the steam is coming out. You can see it.
Look how
We're just
red
watching you
are.
turn gray instantly live. It's,
I'm gonna have to animate some steam coming out of his ears.
Yeah, right, Brian.
He's not even listening at this point.
I don't have any place to pull
To give
off.
credit
so.
where credit is due.
The last thing you see is
Give
me
credit
reaching
where
over
credit
for
is
the
due.
hang up button.
That's right. Yeah, you reached over and boom,
Ask
it's
me
done.
questions.
Yeah, it's all Curtis's fault.
He's like, I'm a professor. Oh, hell no.
Hi, this is Antonio Jimenez.
Greetings, YouTubers. Atari Leaf here.
Hi, I'm Kieran Anscombe, author of X-Raw.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball.
Hi, this is Randy Kindig of the Floppy Days podcast.
Hi, this is Eddie Zerbinski from beautiful Quebec City.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble, co-author of Nitrous 9.
Hi, this is Ron Klein. I'm at the 2016 Coco Fest.
Hi, it's Glenn Hewlett. I'm here at the Coco Fest 2017.
This is Brett Gordon.
Hi, my name is Brendan Donahue.
I'm Evan Wright, author of Flooded for the Color Computer.
Hi, this is Randy Weaver.
This is Lee Patterson, author of Bounty Ball.
Hi, this is John Robbs. I'm at the Coco Fest.
Something like that.
You want to do it over? We want to do over?
That's right.
All right.
The world's leading weekly CoCoTALK show. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
How about, hi, this is
the
David
last day
Ladd.
at Coco Fest. How sad are you? Or happy are you?
I don't know. I'm just tired.
Thank you, David Ladd. Now get back up there for 1 second.
Oh, jeez.
Come on.
What?
Let's get some drive wire, TTL,
No,
ESP.
no, we don't need any drive wire or TTL.
Ah, there it is.
Ah.
That's no Brian Joyce production, but I did the best I could do there.
Oh, it's like a documentary. That was really good.
Oh man, 200 episodes of extreme mediocrity. Let's see if we can continue to lower the bar.
Oh, hey, that's
Remember when I have faith in us.
Remember when I tried
The limbo of podcasts.
Yeah, what's that, Rondova?
Remember when I tried to broadcast a tape over the air to other people and it didn't work?
Well, we did a C-Load M, I think, at one point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
That was weird.
Yeah. There's because it's like when you try to remember when there's so many things have happened, and basically what I did is I just went through all the titles of the episodes, and if I was smart enough to put in the title what was in there, that helped me create my list. But there's so many titles where the title was just ambiguous and something awesome happened in that title, but then that would require me to have to watch 200 episodes, and that's Brian Joyce's department. But yeah, so I know we forgot people. Somebody else I wanted to mention too was Joel M. Adams, who has created the artwork, our CoCoTALK logo, and some of our swag and merchandise were all done by Joel, who created those images. Joel Adams happens to be the son of Rick Adams, legendary game designer, and so Joel has created our logos for our swag shop. So I want to thank Joel for that, and I think I also forgot to mention Greg Zumwalt, and I know there's a lot of people. It's not about just naming all the stars; it's just remembering the different specific interviews that we had, and I know there's many more. There's too many people to thank, too many people to remember. But I think that's kind of interesting. I didn't know what Brian was going to do, and I had my own idea of just having thankful memories. And it was neat to see earlier in the show people thanking me and kind of closing it with me thanking you guys. You know what I mean? So it's this whole thing here, which is really the epitome of what we've been doing here, right? We all have this circular kind of gratitude and appreciation for everything that we do. So that's you guys what make this awesome. So I want to thank you guys, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it has. Never would have expected all this from that first joystick controller special.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, like all of it is just not like, who would have expected anything? Who would have thought, that the Coco would be alive and well in 2015, let alone 2021? And we went from a world that looked like it was going to end to now a world that looks like it will never end. As far as what's going on with products and synergy and energy and momentum and everything else, it's really cool. It really is, and it's like. I think a lot of us have said, like, sometimes this is the thing we look forward to, is just doing the show or watching the show or being on the show. I can definitely say that for me, especially now since COVID. My day-to-days are so hectic with work that I barely have time to do anything recreational-wise. And so at least once a week I can do something to forget about the regular stress of life and just relax. And speaking of Brian Joyce, look who's here, everybody. Brian frickin' Joyce, man. Thank you so much, Brian. You're awesome, dude.
That's all right, mate. Had a great fun doing it. It was awesome.
You are a true talent, and thank you for that, man. That was very touching, and it was entertaining and just hysterical and fun, man. You're awesome.
Thank you.
And my condolences for having to listen to every single minute of Coco
Oh.
episode.
How did you do that, really? How did you get all the... It's amazing.
Well, I started on episode 182. I thought 200 was coming up, so it's time to put something together. And it just went from there. So it took a while.
You must have had to download all the episodes to get the clip. Like, is that like what? I don't understand. That's the amount of work. It was incredible. That's been incredible.
Yeah, thanks. I need to apologize to you, Nick, actually, because I forgot yours. So you submitted a contribution and I forgot to put it in. So
that's okay.
I've uploaded it to Stevie so he can play it if he needs to. So
okay.
If he would like to. So yeah. But yeah, the hardest part of the whole thing was making Stevie and David a love story.
That was awesome. Completely unexpected.
Oh, jeez.
That was funny.
It's been a bromance, a match made in heaven.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man.
And I think, I forget, we actually had an episode that was called Barrier to Entry because it was ironically something that Alan Huffman said on the mailing list. I'm like, sometimes it's a barrier to entry to know what these guys are talking about with all their running jokes and all their in humor. But if anybody knew what was going on from before we even knew what was going on, it was you, Brian. You definitely had some sense for who we are or what we were, and you created things that just encapsulated the moments and all these highlights and little clips and things you did. You had such a talent. You had such talent for seeing that and producing that. Some of the best moments of our first year on the air were because of some of the stuff you did for us. So definitely want to thank you for that, man.
No, thank you. It's been a ride for sure.
And I think somebody asked, do you do this for a living? Are you a producer or something?
No, I do government procurement for a living.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that sounds exciting.
I think you've missed your calling.
Exactly. It's a job.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Terry Steen was saying he likes the Placeblex commercial, another great Ken Reichard commercial. CoCoTALK, After Dark. Great. Alan Huffman, great bit there.
Why did Tandy do that?
Why did Tandy do that? Another Alan Huffman. I think I've got that one queued up here.
Tell me why did Tandy do that?
Oh yeah. So
spoiler alert, because it was cheap.
Yeah, somebody says, why aren't you guys doing that segment anymore? Because we already know the answer.
Yeah, we figured it out.
It's the shortest segment ever.
This wasn't like finding Bigfoot. You know what I mean? We found the answer pretty quickly.
It's no ancient aliens or anything.
No, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Yeah. So, and I mean, like I say, the show has all this stuff that has happened. I think Brian was one of the first ones. Then we started getting stuff from Rob Inman and Ken Reichard, and a lot of people have created little clips and bits here and there. So it's kind of become like the tapestry of all these things being woven together, and it just, sometimes you replace this or change that, and and it's just it's always been a state of evolution, exploration, progress, metamorphosis. We started off without having a single clue. Now we at least have a layout to a structure of people who still don't have a single clue, but at least it's packaged much nicer now.
They have like half a clue.
Yeah, half a clue.
It was Mr. Green with in the somewhere.
Yeah, and I think one of the analogies that I came up with, because none of us are professional broadcasters, we don't have a background in that. Well, maybe some of you guys do, but most of us we never did this before. So I kind of came up with the analogy of like, we are all people who are trying to learn to play an instrument, right? And so we're trying to learn an instrument that we never played before. We started learning to play this instrument, started getting a little bit better at playing this instrument. All of a sudden, we became a band, right? And when you get the band together, you achieve so much more than you could as a solo artist. You know what I mean? So we have just become this band that's been jamming. And we've been jamming so long now that we can just get in a groove at any given time. We don't have to rehearse. We don't need a set list. We can just get up here, just get our instruments out and just make beautiful music. And that's what these past 4 years have been for me, has just been beautiful music that continues to take different roads. It becomes jazz, it becomes hip hop, it's it's prog rock, it's hard rock, it's mellow rock, it's all kinds of stuff. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like, I'm just like a guy learning to play an instrument and being with the band, and just jamming out. So it's been good times,
Yep. Totally agree. Not much to add to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, having my head explode.
It's getting $10 worth out of a $5 ukulele.
Yeah, a band of brothers, David Lord says. Yeah, and the thing that I have liked about it from the beginning is that we have been, like Curtis mentioned, live and interactive, right? So it hasn't just been people talking to themselves. We've been talking and interacting, and it's always been interactive.
That's the secret sauce for me.
Yeah, and that I discovered, basically I took what I was doing playing games, live streaming games, and said, okay, well, let's take that same idea and let's just live stream talking about Coco Fest, and that was really what had happened. Unplanned and anything else, and it's just kind of gone from there. And that's what I like about the show that is different from any other retro product. A lot of podcasts are pretty similar in format. It's a very predictable format, and that's good. I'm not saying that's bad, but what I like about this is the unpredictability of it, and it's the opposite of a podcast. Podcast is a fixed number of people talking. You have no interactivity with that podcast. It is a very passive form of information, and this is, again, opposite of all of that. It's not audio, it's video. You get to see who you're talking to, you get to see what they're talking about, and you can interact with them in real time if you catch it live. So to my knowledge, I don't think that's ever been done before, at least in the world of Coco. Maybe there was stuff on other retro platforms, but I think that's fairly unique and dare I say, innovative.
Well, I've told this story before, so forgive me if you've heard it, but I started off, watching you guys and listening and chatting in YouTube, and then one day Stevie's like, you should come on the show. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not a podcaster. I don't know anything about, being on a show, but I joined anyway, and it was so fun. You guys were so welcoming, and I was such a dork. That's where I.
Wait a second. You saying were?
I was. That's where I made the mistake of saying, I love hearing you guys say my name, and that stuck. That's where the 3 names came from, right then and there. Stevie has a gift of finding something about everybody to sort of make their personality, like a caricature kind of thing. So Stevie took that and ran with it, and that became the 3 names that has obviously stuck. And people, people say they can't, they say my name 3 times, and then Bruce went and made that sound clip, which I thought was my own jingle. I mean, come on. So you guys do a really good job of making us personalities that the people who tune in seem to be in line with, and just a really entertaining show. And your mentality is always empowering people, bringing people in, empowering us to create, It's not about you. You never, it's not the Stevie Strobridge show. You give us the latitude to really create and it's a really great environment.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Feeling is quite mutual. And that's kind of, there's so many things that like I have tried to do and felt like I haven't always been successful, but I think we have tried from day one to say to people, listen, come on the show. Just because before it was just a Skype call and it was just anybody could have jumped on Skype at any time. It was a complete open party line. And we've always kind of said, listen, come on the show, because as much as it's nice that people are chatting with us, it's literally hard to keep up with the chat while you're trying to listen and watch. There's like I'm looking at 3 screens and I'm being inundated with information. It's impossible for me to process everything that's going on. So I feel horrible that I can't always read the chat or respond to the chat in a timely manner. That's why I'm hoping we have a lot of moderators to help in that area. Curtis and Marco and stuff do a good job at that. But there's so much input. And so I always would encourage anybody, and we did a commercial about this saying anybody can come on to CoCoTALK, because that's always been true. And I think episode 20, we actually made that the theme of the show. Listen, it's been the same 6 people talking for the past 19 weeks. We want to hear from other idiots, not just us idiots, right? And so we really invited everybody on episode 20 to join the panel. And that's always been the mantra. This has never been the exclusive club of whatever. It's been the community show. It's public access, and we want people to join us. And that statement's true today. But I just get tired of asking for it, because it's like you can't make somebody do what they don't want to do. But we'll just remind everybody that that invitation is always open. You just got to reach out to us and say, I'd like to be on the show. And everyone is welcome. Yeah.
We have a question in chat for John Boat of Car. They want to know where that nickname came from.
The name Boat of Car comes from a They Might Be Giants song. Lots of people think I drive like a big Lincoln or something, but that's not the case. There's a They Might Be Giants song, hero to all nerds everywhere that are into music. They've got a song on their first album called Boat of Car, and I thought, hey, that's a cool internet handle back in 1997. And so it's stuck with me ever since.
Boat of Car. There you go. Terry Steen says CoCoTALK, an equal idiot employer.
And any idiot can come on here, and I'm a perfect example of that.
Any idiot can, and every idiot has.
I love that Boat of Cars joined us, and this brings another point that I really love, is the synergy between us and other Coco groups. Like we have the Amigos Retro Gaming guys that interact with us. Canadian Retro Things has become a regular contributor with the videos that I play during the Game On Results, and he's been on the show a couple times too. I love the community that we're building and the interaction between the different podcasts and different.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. And it goes to show that just because you have a show that's also about the same platform, it doesn't mean that you need to be down on other shows that focus on the same computer. It's not a zero-sum game. Everybody can exist together.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's never been a competition. It never has. And that was the irony of it is, so we always have been and always will be, first and foremost, a live interactive video medium. But it was episode 21 where we also started providing an audio replay in audio and then later video podcast form. So you could catch the show as a replay. You could listen to it while you're driving. If you don't have the time to watch it during the week and stuff, you could download it, take it with you. And again, that was getting back to an inspiration from the Coco crew, because I was listening to the Coco crew even back then in their first year, and they started talking about, we're getting like 1,000 downloads a month. And back then this was on YouTube, and I was still in my early days of YouTube, and I was full of delusion of becoming a wealthy YouTuber. So I was like selfishly thinking, well, if they could get 1,000 downloads as a podcast, what is a podcast? And are people just out there like doing the Google on a podcast site to find podcasts? So I thought if we just threw this crap out there, and whoever these podcast people were to listen to podcasts, maybe they'll find us and they're going to listen to the show and they're going to say, wait a second, I have no idea what they're talking about. I need to watch this. So I was really selfish in thinking that throwing a podcast version of the show would get us more viewers, because I was somewhat focused on trying to get viewers, because you can theoretically make money off of views on YouTube. Well, that really hasn't panned out too well for me. But so there was a real naive and selfish initial reason of throwing the audio version out there. And it's like the show has been unexpected. The fact that people actually have benefited from that, and that even though you can't always see it, to still hear the discussions has been a good resource for a lot of people. And so that just became another unexpected additional layer to what's happened over the past somewhat years. And yeah, so we still get just as many downloads on the audio and video versions as we do views and replays on the YouTube version. So that was kind of interesting too.
Yep.
Well, I don't download the audio version anymore since I've been here.
Yeah, right.
I'm already here, but I used to listen to the audio version quite a bit before I end up being invited to be on the show on episode 36, I think it was. So,
in my case, the few times that I have not been able to make the show and I can't catch it live because I'm in the car driving or whatever, I've actually downloaded the video podcast version of it to catch up.
Yeah.
So you're watching the video while you drive?
No, that's like when I stop at a hotel or something. I'm on the road type thing.
Okay, good. Just checking.
I'd like to mention my buddy Paul Barton too.
Paul T. Barton, yes, another great
Mr.
asset
Colorful
to the show.
Wires.
Mr. Colorful Wires. How's he doing? Is he doing good?
Yeah, he's good.
Good.
He has some issues going on, but he's dealing with it.
That's good. Yeah. There's so many. And another thing I would just want to stress: we talk about community, we talk about synergies. If there could be any moral to the story, any wish or thought or thing, is that I really would like to say that I would just want to say peace on earth and goodwill towards all. And if there are bridges that seem to be burned or broken, hopefully those bridges can be mended. I really would not like anybody to not feel like they have to make a choice or choose a side or anything like that. I think there's, you know what I mean? There's enough community to go out there. There's no reason why everybody shouldn't get along. And and that invitation has always been open too, that, have some discussions and maybe heal some wounds, have some conversations. And so for any transgressions that have transpired in the past, you know what, the past is in the past, and I always look forward to a brighter future. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, whatever minor indiscretions are out there can hopefully become, moved
bygones.
Past, at some point.
Bygones be bygones.
Yeah, wishful thinking. But who knows, So I always would say live and let live, and let's look forward to tomorrow. Like as many things as we haven't been able to expect in the past 5 years of what's happened to the Coco and what's happened to the community. Does anybody have any predictions on what the next 5 months or 5 years might bring us, hardware-wise, project-wise? Anything else? Anyone?
Well, Coco networking looks like it's the next big hot thing.
Yeah. The final release of the Gimme X is another one.
I predict there will never be a Coco graphical web browser.
That sounds like a challenge.
Hold my beer. Hey,
yeah, really.
Grant Leedy.
Yes, sir.
Grant, I appreciate you, man.
Hey, no problem.
You're our first guest host, man.
Oh yeah, that's been a long time now.
Yeah.
Grant looks really far away.
He does.
So it's all your fault.
David Lord says Coco 3s will hit $500 on eBay. That's already happened. That's not a prediction. That's a fact.
Back down to $500.
Yeah.
So I just want to know who's going to raise the bar. We've had a person fart on the show now, and me who live streamed. So Jason, what are you going to do next?
No. I'm not going to do anything like that on purpose.
That's the core dump segment.
Right.
Oh, no. Going to raise the standard.
One thing I want to say is, to me, CoCoTALK, I mean, we do the show every week, obviously. CoCoTALK is the show. But CoCoTALK it's much more than that. I mean, we keep in touch with each other through the whole week. And one of my favorite memories is actually didn't even happen during the show. It was when I had my 128K Coco 3, and I bought the Boomerang Classic board from Richard Lorbieski, and I am not a hardware person at all. I'm not good with real life objects, and my skills are in the virtual world. So Curtis Boyle and Nick Marentes, we had a Zoom, or I think we used Zoom. It was a webcam thing anyway, and they sat with me online and walked me through the process of removing the old RAM and putting the board, getting rid of those caps and putting in the new board. because I was nervous doing it. I was afraid. I was convinced I was going to break my Coco.
Yeah,
So
I think
those
you
guys-
lost 15 pounds in sweat that day.
So those guys were so patient with me, walking me through and telling me I was doing okay, and I mean, I didn't know them all that long at that point. It was a while ago, and I that was one of my favorite memories. Like they just the support they showed me and walking me through it and telling me that it was going to be okay. And
yeah, right, a support group. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was amazed.
We're like enablers and a support group all in one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I remember you didn't even have like wire cutters. You had to use like a
I used a screwdriver to pop the
okay.
pop the chips.
But
out.
did you like use scissors or something to cut the capacitors out?
Like a nail
No, I
clipper?
think I rocked them back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
you did, and it took a while.
I'm glad it all worked out though. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheldon McDonald says, I'm waiting for that Coco 2 clone project from Zipster.
There you go.
Qui-Gon's remembering Grant with the helicopter, the propeller hat. That was another Brian Joyce thing. And Sheldon,
thanks,
Sheldon.
Thanks to EOU and DriveWire, almost everyone can have a real-time clock now.
Sure.
I could bring up a couple of things.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, okay, one of them didn't happen on the show, but I had a heck of a lot of fun doing it. It was a Stevie live stream, and where we were playing Forest of Doom. That was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. We're all playing Forest of Doom, and then of course the best part was when I ultimately won. But, and I got the mug. Yes, the infamous mug. And then that brings us to my first Coco Fest. And I started the Bring Your Brother the Coco Fest program. Brought my brother Ken with me, and he had built
display case for your mug.
Yeah, he built the rotating lit display case for the
stand
for the mug.
douchery. Yes, I remember that too.
Yes, you're just jealous.
Haters gonna hate.
Screw you, Jason.
I love you too, Grant. But it was such a great experience at Coco Fest in, what was that, 2018, which seems like a lifetime ago at this point. But I'd never been to Coco. I knew about Coco Fest, known about it for years. Chicago just seemed so far away to go. And I mean, the only other Coco events I'd ever been to was Penn Fest in '99 and 2000, and it was practically in my backyard. I met some of the guys there, like Curtis and John Linville and a bunch of other Nick Marentes, a bunch of other fellas. There's some and Sockmaster and what was a fellow? One of the three amigos from the Coco
the
three.
Musketeers,
Mark Hawkins.
Mark Hawkins was there. That was a great. And there's even bonus footage from that on, I think, what it's on the Popstar Pilot 20-some-year-old footage, but it was it was such a odd experience. I was so bummed when Penn Fest went away, and it was such a great experience to get to Coco Fest and then to get together in 2019, and can't wait to be able to go again and be able to meet again live. That was such a great experience. I mean, the VCF Midwest, that was a blast.
That was.
Tandy Assembly has been fun, and it's nice that it's just across the state. It's about 3 or 4 hours from me. It's pretty close, and it's always nice meeting up with other retro computer enthusiasts. But as far as the show goes, I mean, there was, of course, episode 36. That was just one of those things where it was so it's like, wait a minute, I'm just some schmuck in the chat, and you want me to come on? Okay, great. And then, of course, you threw me off, Stevie. There was a whole like, this is your life quiz, and not knowing about that, I'm like, well, I didn't study for all this, but okay. And then I'm trying to remember everything. I'm like, well, let's see here. Anything that I had published, I was mostly utilities, and it was kind of towards the end of things. I mean, like, for crying out loud, I had a program on the next to the last issue of T&D Software. I mean, and then I think I wrote like 3 articles or so for the World of 68 Micros, but that was where that all was. But one of the funnest things besides the virtual Coco Fest was great. I had a great time, even though I got not hassled. What am I thinking? Heckled. Yes, that's the right H word. Thank you. Ding, Nick Marotta, you win a prize. But the one that was fun. But one of the other fun things was we had mentioned it before there, Stevie, the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
I had fun writing that program. Once I got the engine down, I was getting all kinds of suggestions.
Trivia questions, yeah.
Trivia questions, yep, from our Discord server, and it was got a lot of input on that, and that was fun, running that. It's one of the few times I'm a big real hardware guy. It's one of the few times I did run emulation for any amount of time, just for ease of use. But that was great, and just being able to meet all the. I think I've met most of the folks here on the panel one time or another, and and you have to watch out. David Ladd is a hugger. Hey, when you do come to Coco Fest, watch out. David Ladd is a hugger, and
something else that was really cool is meeting Simon and how he got there.
Yes, that
Absolutely.
was neat. Yes, that was a surprise kind of GoFundMe that Paul Thayer had put together. Everybody kind of chipped in to raise the money for the plane ticket for Simon to come out to Coco Fest. Yeah, meeting Simon in person was a treat. He's very tall. He's a lot taller in person than he is on the internet.
So. And I've not been on a plane in 40 years. I was just scared.
Yes.
And I will say the only other time we've done that kind of like fundraising, community fundraising that I remember to get somebody down was to get Nick Merendes down to PenFest 2000, thanks to Ron Bull and all the rest that helped organize that. But in Simon's case, we actually liked him enough. We actually offered to pay to send him back afterwards, too, which we didn't.
That's the part you funded.
Well, there was the Australian auction. I believe I got a package of biscuits.
Yeah.
All the Australian items. I think I actually found the wrapper from the Aztec biscuits in my bins of Coco stuff. And it was like, well, that's funny that I saved that. That's just.
Yeah, I still got some fridge magnets from that. I think some Koala Qantas Airlines or something.
Did anybody, I know when I went to my first Coco Fest and I was going to meet people for the first time, did anybody go through any type of apprehension of okay, what's it going to be really like meeting this person for real? Yep. And so I don't know if that was conscious or subconscious, but I just know that the minute I met everybody, I didn't feel anything other than, okay, this is just a bunch of people. Curtis and I had only spoken on Skype a number of times, but we met in person, and it was great, and we hung out, and I met people that I didn't even know yet because I hadn't talked to them yet, but I got to meet a lot of people that I've now known for 5-6 years, and this meeting everybody for the first time at Coco Fest, it just really felt, you didn't feel out of place, you didn't feel awkward, it didn't really feel didn't feel like there were any egos or anything else like that. I didn't know how to behave or what to expect, so I tried to not go out of my way to do or say or do anything. But I did interact with as many people as I could, and it was really neat. And I met David Ladd. So David Ladd and I met for the first time, but we didn't really talk a lot because we didn't know each other prior to that. But since that first Coco Fest, we became such better friends because we started playing a lot of PC games together and online gaming and stuff. So David and I have been friends more post our first meeting since then. Of course, we've met in person many times since then, too. But yeah, meeting people in person that you had never met before wasn't weird, and as far as I can tell, I was not disappointed from anybody I met. I don't know if that's true for anybody who's met me, but meeting everyone in person, there was no disappointments meeting anybody, and it was almost like, oh, I kind of already know you. It's like now I'm just seeing you,
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got to cheat a bit because I already knew quite a few people from when I used to go to Coco Fest back in the old days, like the early 2000s, the 1990s, and even Rainbow Fest before that. So I knew literally half to 3/4 of the people that were there already, and then the rest I'd been meeting on chats or talking on the listserv, etc. too. So I can't say I was nervous going for my first time back in 12 years. I was more nervous about the drive than anything else because it's a long frickin' drive.
In '84, I met Lonnie Falk at Coco Fest, or Rainbow Fest, I should say, and he was an interesting guy to talk to, and I didn't really have a whole lot to say to him. But it was just cool to meet him and think of he's responsible for the magazine. It was awesome to meet him and talk to others too. It was neat.
Yeah. It's talking about an accomplished person.
That whole experience being GoFunded me and stuff like that. It was totally brilliant, but it was pretty traumatic at the same time. I'd not been on a plane for 40 years. Okay, so I got to the airport in Denmark. I've not been in a plane in 40 years, so I was literally crapping myself.
Wow.
And I'm really nervous. And all of a sudden, beside me you've got like these automated check-ins, and there's a family beside me, and they've got camera crew filming this bloody automated check-in. I'm sitting there rooting through my bag, like, where's my bloody passport? Where's my end destination? Because when you go to America from Europe, you have to put in your end destination, exactly where you're going to. I had to type this stuff up, and I was like, where are my glasses? Where's this and the other? And I got through security in Denmark, and it's like, well, we're just going to drug check you. So they got like this thing, and they check your fingers. So if you've got any traces of weed or cocaine or something, your bloody fingers, stuff like that. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. Literally, I could not drive to the airport. I had to have my wife take me to the airport because I was so shit scared to get on that plane.
Wow.
And I got to the airport, and first thing I done is like 8:30 in the morning when I finally got through security. I was like, yeah, beer. So, like, I'm sitting there in the airport, and I get on this first plane. It's a little tiny plane. It's like a city hopper. So it's got like 2 rows of 2 seats, really small plane, and it's all of a sudden I'm like,
you feel the vibration of everything in a small plane too. Yeah,
you're going down this runway like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's like, fuck, I'm gonna die. I just hold on to the seat in front of me. I was holding on to the seat in front of me, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden, okay, I look over the wing, and all of a sudden, bloody thing starts to bank because they've got to change direction. It starts to bank, and like, shit, I'm gonna fall out of the fucking sky. And that was fine. We got I got to Amsterdam. I got to Amsterdam because I had to go from Denmark to Amsterdam to get a Delta Airlines to Detroit Metro. Paulie T picked me up in Detroit Metro. And I got to Amsterdam, and it's like, well, the terminal in Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam is like a mile long from one end to the other. I dealt with ours at the other end, and I only had like 45 minutes to get to the other end. And I had to get onto one of these scanners and get a new ticket and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm literally running through this bloody airport, you know. I get on that Delta Airlines plane, and actually, I was so scared. But you get on this big old Airbus A330 or something like that, yeah. And it was completely different ride than the little tiny plane.
Right, smooth.
It was really, really smooth, and you got this nice stewardess comes along. She says, "Well, have you got any trash?" I goes, "Yeah, I got some trash," and I just pulled out a beer can. Because when I finally got through the airport in Schiphol in Amsterdam, when I finally got through the airport, I thought, yeah, just buy a bloody Heineken, just to calm your nerves. And I pulled out his beer can. He goes, I hope you don't have any more of those. I goes, why? Well, this is Delta Airlines. All booze is free.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay, fine, thank you. So she comes by and she goes, do you want anything? I says, well, have you got an IPA? Yeah. She goes down the bottom and she gives me this, I don't know what the heck it was called, but it was a really wicked IPA from the USA. And I don't know if you...
That's a strong beer.
I don't know if you guys were seeing me at Coco Fest, because I was.
Didn't the can have a skull on it or something like that?
Yeah, well, that was, yeah, I can't remember the name of that. But the other one I got, which I got at a store with Paul Fayer, was Backwoods Bastard.
With a name like that.
Oh, what a memory, huh?
That just screams quality.
Bastard. But the other thing was, when I finally got to USA, right, I only had a backpack because I was only going to be there for like the weekend. I came on a Thursday and I was going to go on a Monday or the Tuesday. So I only needed a backpack. I only needed a few pairs of underpants, socks, my computer, and a change of clothes. So go through the airport, and all of a sudden I'm going out where normally you just like your suitcases are checked out and stuff like that. And I just got this backpack on, and I see this security guy coming up to me, and he's got his hand on his gun, and he's going, "Excuse me, sir, is that the only baggage you've got?" Yes. Come with me, please. So seriously, I took off to some obscure part of the airport, and it's like you've got these signs saying strip search.
Oh my God. Welcome to Coco Fest. Welcome to Coco Fest. Grab your ankles.
Literally, that was
like Simon will ever want to come back to the U.S. again.
It was
River.
It was one adventure after the next, but I mean, if you
well, let me ask you: at any point in time, did any of your planes hit rogue furniture?
I hit a bit of turbulence over Lake Terry
because Terry Steen hit a freaking couch, so he didn't get strip searched, but there.
Well, I didn't get strip searched either, but I mean, the intimidating signs were there.
Oh,
what is your purpose in the United States?
Exactly. I'm going to some retro computer fest, and he's got this guy going.
You gotta wonder what that's like when you cross the Canadian border too, with bringing contraband, 40-year-old contraband across country lines.
Are you high right now, sir?
Oh no, but it was total blast. But I tell you what, I was so tired because I had like the 6-hour time difference to Michigan, and then day afterwards he drove to Chicago, so I got like a 7-hour time difference. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to make this up, because I literally got up at 6 o'clock in the morning Danish time, and I flew and I landed in Detroit Metro at 3 p.m. your time, but for me that would be like 9 p.m. and then from Detroit Metro to where Paulie T lives in Grand Rapids, it was like a 2.5, 3-hour drive. And I was totally really tired, but I thought, no, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm just going to stay up until Paulie T goes to bed, and then I'll get up in the morning when Paulie T gets up. So literally I arose at like 5 o'clock in the bloody morning.
Wow.
And I went out on his porch in the front, and I seen squirrels jumping up in the trees, and completely placid street squirrels jumping up in the trees, and you got these what you call robins,
red birds.
Yeah, a really red bird, but it's not what we
cardinals
call a
robin.
too. Yeah, exactly. And it was just magical. It was just magical, you know. But I was so tired, and I'll tell you what kept me fueled at Coco Fest was them backwoods bastards.
And weren't you still working on your demo down till like the last minute before you were going to debut your big Coco 3 demo too?
Yeah, and all of a sudden I was like, shit, I can't get the last part to work. So, okay, damn it. Let's just do what we have. And I said to Paulie T, I'm going outside for a cigarette. Right, and I just ran up the stairs, went and had my cigarette outside, and all of a sudden Paulie's going like, come on. They're all sitting there waiting for you. There's computers set up and stuff like that. I was actually literally late for my presentation.
Wow. Down to the wire.
Yeah, but that was so magical. And the other thing I loved about that was stuck in the elevator.
No, that's in the past. Leave it.
That was so bloody funny. That was so funny. It's like you got these guys staring out. Who was in that elevator? I think you got David Ladd.
You got everybody here except Mikey right now.
David, Marco, Curtis, and Michael Furman, right?
Yeah, you got 5 of you, yeah? Stuck in an elevator. You got the fire truck outside.
Grant was there too. Grant, you were in the elevator, right?
Yeah, Grant was too.
Grant was.
Oh, yes, he was.
So
it's
interesting.
Watching through the doors pried open slightly, and you're watching firemen come in, full dress.
The jaws of life trying to get them
jaws
out.
of life and axe. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that was. that was such a fun moment.
I'm sure it was fun if you weren't in the elevator.
I remember getting a text from David. Like, David must have texted me, but because he was in the elevator and the doors were closed, it didn't come out. So like an hour later on my phone, it shows up. David's like, "Hey, we're in the elevator. Can you come give me a hand?" And it's like, they could have been in there stuck dying and suffocating, and I never would have known because his text never made it out of that metal box. It was so funny to get that message on my phone, like after they're already out and we're all laughing at him.
The other thing, I was sitting there on the Saturday morning. At Coco Fest, right? All of a sudden, I got a text from my wife. There's a radiator upstairs. It's leaking, and the boiler's gone out.
Oh man!
Really? For fuck's sakes! I'm 6,000 miles away. I can't go and fix the bloody boiler. So I had to give her instructions about how to go downstairs and turn off the boiler and turn off some of the radiator feed taps and stuff like that.
Did she get it figured out?
She had to call the plumber. And that cost me a lot of money, but it was well worth it. So that was a fun trip. It's a fun trip, and I'd definitely do it again.
What did you think of going to Fuddruckers? Have you been to a hamburger place like that before, where you get to put all your own crap on the buns and everything?
I had the gluten-free option.
Okay.
And Fiscarelli bought me a beer. That was nice.
Polly's good like that. Polly's always good for buying around.
What about in 2018 when the hotel recommended this pizza place that we were going to all go eat at that had no
with
seating.
no seating.
Yeah.
And we were in separate cars. Come up like, Stevie, there's no seating. Well, how long is it going to be? I don't know, Stevie. When are they going to add a dining room?
There's no seating. Doesn't mean they're full. It literally means there's no seats to sit on.
I think there's a bench there.
It was takeout only.
Yeah, I think there was a bench, but maybe for like 2 or 3 people where you were waiting for your pizza. But that was about it.
And that's where we ended up going to Fire and Wine, which became a tradition. And in the next 2 to 3 years to follow, that when we all get there, we'd end up going to Fire and Wine and having these like flatbread pizzas and beer and wine and other things like that. And that was kind of neat.
That wasn't the time you did the real life Frogger?
That was one of the times. That was just trying to run across the. No, that was still at Coco because you had to run across the street to make your way to the sub place.
Or was that Froggy? I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, I was running across. I tripped on the median, landed on my knee, screwed myself up and everything, and yeah.
I think I did pretty bad too.
Yeah,
you failed your Froggy move.
Yeah, you literally have to run for your life to get a sandwich at Coco Fest. So across 12 lanes of traffic, moving traffic in suburb of Chicago. So.
Oh yeah, that Chicago traffic is just such a joy.
Yes. So
I've got a question for.
Yes, Brian.
Curtis.
Oh.
Have you reached out to Brother Jeremy at all to see if he wanted to join the show?
No, I don't have a contact form right now, to be honest. You have one?
I could probably get one. I can talk to Tony on that because he would be
a good virtual guest for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He did make the fest the one year
now living in the UK right now in England.
And I had never heard of Brother Jeremy, but I had seen that clip. I don't know how many times. I had seen the Kevin Darling let the program free. So.
He's an interesting fellow.
Yeah, I got to experience that live and in person, Stevie, and I think it was like one of my first Coco events, and I'm kind of like, what the heck is going on here?
Right.
It was a Penn Fest when he debuted that.
He's a real to God Episcopalian monk. That he was in Wisconsin at one of the parishes up there, and that teaching music, and now that's what he's doing full time in the UK. In that, and he's been upgraded a little bit, but he's really good. He actually put himself through seminary in a rock and roll band.
That is cool.
Some of his tales back from the 70s is
right.
Yeah. That's.
He was one of the originating members of Off the Hawk, the occasional Friday night OS9 hanging out club.
Wow.
Here we had members from Economwalk, hence the name. Yeah.
He's also the leader of all of our jam sessions in the 90s.
Yeah, Munko Jam.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to meet him in 2016 at my first Coco Fest. I got to meet Brother Jeremy. That was quite, and again, getting back to history and preserving these memories and these moments. The fact that PenFest 2000, probably one of the most photographed and videographed events in the history of all Coco events. I had seen so much footage and so many photographs, and I kind of had a sense of who he was before I met him, but to actually meet the man in person, he's definitely a larger than life character. And again, hanging out at Fuddruckers with everybody and with Brother Jeremy at Fuddruckers was just an incredible moment, you know.
In full monk regalia too.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we've kind of we've mentioned Coco Fest. You know, Coco Fest has been the inspiration for CoCoTALK, but who is the people behind Coco Fest? Well, that's the Glenside Color Computer Club, and Brian Schubing is here as a member. Technically, we're all members because if you've been to Coco Fest, you're a member. But I consider the core members the ones who live in Chicago and have been around for 20 years or whatever. But Glenside Color Computer Club has been publishing the newsletter since 1985. So they've kept the publication going even when Rainbow Magazine ended, and they've been keeping a festival going since 1991. So Glenside Color Computer Club really has been a driving force of keeping the Coco community moving for 30 years now, and they have been the inspiration for this show and for us getting together and meeting in person and becoming like real life friends and stuff like that. So definitely got to give props and thanks to Glenside and all the folks there. Great group of people, great, good people, quality, salt of the earth type of people. And they happen to love the Coco, and they've been keeping the Coco flame alive for going on 30 freaking years. And so to get to a Coco Fest is truly a great pilgrimage of just, of like-minded people.
I want to bring up a couple of comments in the chat here too. Jim Gary has joined us.
Hey,
and Jim, you have to come on the show one of these days to talk about all your MC10 development. And also James Jones mentions that Brother Jeremy is very cool. He kindly officiated at his wedding.
Oh, neat.
Gotta fly, guys.
All
Take
right,
care.
Brian. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Oh man, my arm's starting to hurt from patting myself on the back now. all these hours here, but
switch the other.
Yeah.
We can go another 3 hours now.
Yeah, but definitely, guys, all of you guys, I want to thank you all, and I definitely want to thank Brian Joyce, who created that great piece for us. Great stuff, and I'm looking forward. Like Curtis Boyle says, 2,000 more episodes. That'd be great. You know what I mean? It's really hard to predict where the future will go. I predict the future is going to be bright and continue to be brighter. And I look forward to that. I look forward to new things, new programs, new products, new people discovering something for the first time and sharing those discoveries. And the things we're seeing now with, I'm loving seeing the semi-graphics wireframe polygon.
Who's been in chat.
The polygon stuff in semi-graphics. That crap is just blowing my freaking mind right now. So the things that people are doing continue to make me feel like a complete underachieving loser. It's like I haven't even learned how to put hello world on the screen yet, and these guys are freaking making rotoscoping freaking geometry spinning around and stuff. So it's just like, yeah, hello, I'm a loser.
Alien. You're doing pretty good.
The polite way to say it is your skill set is in other areas.
Yeah, well, it's in no areas, but sure. Thank you for being kind. You're too kind. Thank you. Yes.
No is other, yeah.
I think you're talking about Sheldon
McDonald's. Right, yes.
Yeah. Right now he's on the Coco VGA.
Okay, it's neat though. Oh, so it's not truly semi-graphics.
Well, yes, he's done SG8.
Okay.
He's done SG8, and he asked me for some advice about the Coco VGA. So he's actually making a stopgap between basic and assembly.
Okay.
Which is an IDE that's half basic, half assembly.
Interesting.
So literally libraries and stuff like that. You could just, instead of you got to write all your code in assembly,
right?
You just call functions, stuff like that, and it will write assembly code for you.
Okay.
So Simon, are you going to be available next week? Because when we get back to the regular news segment, I actually have several of his video demos on there, and if you've got kind of the background on that. And Sheldon's welcome to join too, but we can maybe get you guys to kind of talk about and expand on it a bit.
Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Yeah, cool.
So, I mean, there's not much else going on with this COVID turd.
Right. So yeah, just speaking of Glenside and COVID and things like that. So we just had our meeting Thursday, and they added something new to the meeting, which I actually liked, because typically the Glenside monthly meetings have been a quote unquote business meeting, and it just felt like 2 hours of bureaucratic circle jerking, honestly, that I've been attending. So it never has been really fun. It's always seemed to be counterproductive and frustrating. But they added this month a social hour, an hour before the meeting, where people could show off projects or talk about things. And I thought that was really cool. And it was fun. So John Mark Mobley showed off a cool little demo where he wrote a program in BASIC that would scan through memory and find all your different tokenized keywords and show them on the screen. And Eric Canales showed off, and speaking of IDEs, an IDE that he's working on where you can write stuff in assembly and it would then, pump it into MAME and pop stuff up in MAME. So he's actually writing his own front end editor to use things like LWASM and all these other tools to then pop up and write code. So that was a cool project. And so the fact that we actually had a little bit of a social hour before the business meeting was great. And the things that we were talking about that would affect CoCoFest is what are some alternate dates. And there's going to be a poll that's coming out. So if you're already registered on Tandy List and you paid for CoCoFest last year, you should get an invitation to take the poll. So we're looking at the earliest date now, since April is probably not realistic with being able to have large gatherings. So we have an possible date in June that CoCoFest could possibly happen. Then we've got one or two options in September, and then I think something in like November. So there's a few potential dates that the venue also has open that we can jump into and still fulfill our contract and our agreement from last year. So there will be some voting to take place to attend CoCoFest. I hope we do have some in-person events this year. It is still being a little more optimistic than realistic to think it's going to happen, but I want to always look on the bright side and hope that we have one. So I'm hoping that by September or November, before the end of this year, I sincerely hope we can get together with more than 10 people and closer than 6 feet apart and get together and just hang out like the brethren that we are and just enjoy our company for a couple of days. CoCoFest is kind of like our Woodstock, it's just like getting together and just, sharing the love of what we love. And I hope it happens, and I'm looking forward to that. And if it doesn't, plan B we'll have another virtual CoCoFest, and it won't suck. It's not the same as meeting people in person. So I really look forward to meeting more people in person this year and every year after that, for sure. Other than Grant Leedy, I've met him. I kind of regret that. So,
don't we all?
We were talking. Who was I talking to when the first time we were at our first Tandy assembly? We were talking to somebody on the phone. Well, what are you and Grant doing? I'm like, oh, Grant's just here sitting on my lap or something like that. Who were we talking to, Grant, when we said that? Was that David?
I think it was David Ladd.
We're talking to David Ladd. So yeah, he's just here sitting on my lap, right? So.
Yeah, that's where that whole thing came from, and after that we give Grant and Stevie a hard time about that.
But you and I are the bromance. You saw our love story, David.
Yeah,
right. Can't deny what's written in the stars, man. So you are my density. I loved the Back to the Future stuff at the beginning of that thing that Brian did for us. That was the music was awesome. Yeah, it was really cool. Brian, you did a hell of a job, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, that was awesome.
If I can I just thank a few people?
Absolutely.
Because I put the call out pretty early, and a lot of people responded. So thanks to Rick and Paul and John and Aaron and Curtis, Jason, David Ladd, Grant and Mark Bursley and Mark Overholzer and Simon and Nick Morado, even though I forgot to put his in. And Samuel,
you know what?
Samuel
My fault.
Grimes.
I gave it to you late, so that was
that's
on
all right.
me.
Yeah, that's okay. And Samuel Grimes, of course, and a special thank you very much to Bruce, who Unfortunately, I didn't let him know about it until like a day or two before I wanted the cutoff. So I forgot Bruce altogether, and he put that Nick Marinus thing together in like a day. So
oh, he was brilliant
special,
like that.
Yeah, special thanks to him, and I apologize again for leaving him out. And Mark Overholzer mentioned in a chat a couple about 15 hours ago, how long, how many hours has CoCoTALK produced? And I've got a little sheet here because I went through them all, obviously.
Oh my God!
And made notes. Stevie, you've given us 639 hours, 5 minutes, 36 seconds of goodness. So thank you very much.
639 hours. There's got to be a legal limit somewhere that we've exceeded.
I just hope there's therapy available for the people who've had to watch all that.
That's over an average of 3 hours a show.
Are you sure that's all goodness?
Well, 30 minutes of it was good at least.
Yeah, the 30 minutes that Brian put together was
a
good,
minute or two here and there.
That is 26. That's 26 days. 0.625.
It's like a month. It's almost a month.
A month of your life you'll never get back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have a prediction.
Go
actually.
ahead. Yeah.
I will not be making the montage for episode 2000. If I start now, there's just not enough time.
No, but that was a labor of love, and you did a hell of a job.
Beautifully done. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Are we ready to put a fork in this episode?
Not quite.
Go ahead.
Couple things from chat. First of all, Torsten Diddle, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, says, "Hey, Simon." He also mentions that the chat on the left disappeared, so they can't see the chat on the stream.
Okay.
And then I also wanted Bo had mentioned, like, he's got another podcast that he's doing with a guy that runs Retro Man Cave on YouTube, which they do This Week in Retro, and it's kind of a general broad about all kinds of retro things. And there's never been any Coco content or Dragon content on it before, but he is planning on doing one for the next episode. And I think you guys record on Thursday. Is that correct, Bo?
Yeah, we normally record on Thursdays, and then the show usually goes up on Friday or Saturday. So our latest episode just went up yesterday, we cover mostly, the biggest stories in retro in either the console or computer sphere. But next week we're going to have our inaugural Coco story, which we're going to talk about Ben and the VR setup that he has, just because that's too cool not to talk about.
That's cool.
So Neil, Retro Man Cave, actually, the name has been retired. Now it's just RMC, a less controversial name, I guess. But if you guys haven't checked out This Week in Retro before, give it a watch. We've got we have the podcast version. We also have a full video version on YouTube. So I hope you guys check it out, especially next week when we cover that Coco story.
Yeah, and it's called This Week in Retro is the channel on YouTube. If you're looking for it, I actually have one up here if anyone wants to see what the very beginning of an episode looks like, so you can kind of get a feel for it.
I don't know if you're able to share it or not.
Not at the moment, looks like. Let me try again. Nope.
All right. Try it again.
Yeah, there we go.
More Coco content.
This is my way of sneaking in news.
Amiga.
I figured you were jonesing a little bit.
This Week in Retro.
Those kids are not afraid of computers.
Don't let the Twit guys find out.
I know that guy.
February 15th.
Coming up on today's show,
the Andy Warhol Museum Amiga exhibit.
Sayonara.
And we're in the same sweater. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I haven't changed clothes all week.
Plus our community question of the week on This Week in Retro.
Up-to-date news.
It's different.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool podcast, and now video show that's been more recent.
We fly into our first story. A quick correction.
I'm gonna play the whole episode. We'll have to get some page views driven for them there, but
post a link in the chat to the channel.
Okie shall do. And also, I wanted to mention they actually take suggestions for topics to cover. And you guys normally cover 4 to 5 stories a week, I think it is.
Yeah, 4 to 5 stories a week. What we do, the way we pick the stories that we cover is we actually do it through Reddit, which is kind of an interesting way. Reddit has a way to up or downvote stories. So people post stories all week on the This Week in Retro subreddit, which is Reddit. It's r/This Week in Retro. And so people post links and they vote those links up or down. And that's how we we discover new stories to talk about, and it's really cool because it keeps us up to date with like what are the most popular stories in either retro computing or retro console type stuff.
You guys cover hardware, you guys cover software,
everything all across the board.
So if any of you guys see any really cool Coco, Dragon, MC10 stories that you think are newsworthy for a generalized retro audience, please join the Reddit and suggest the stories, and I'll pump a few towards Boda too in the Discord, which I noticed several of the Coco community members have now joined their Discord as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've got one more quick one of memory that recently made me laugh, and John Schaller, please forgive me. I watched the latest Coco, the Coco show being made. That's over on Amigos Retro Gaming. Check it out; it's a great show. And my memory involves John Schaller introducing "Welcome to CoCoTALK" accidentally.
I just gotten off your guys' show. And I might have been a couple drinks in at that point. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The problem with Coco shows is they all start with the word Coco. So you got Coco Fest, you got Coco Crew, Coco Talk, Coco Show. It's like it's an easy slip of the tongue at some point in time. Yeah. So.
Some free publicity for Coco.
Welcome to whatever the hell Coco show we're on.
Welcome to the Coco Show.
Welcome to Drunken Coco's Thoughts.
And
check out their show. Seriously, it's a good show too.
Yeah.
And then Aaron
call that after dark, but yeah, it's a great show, and they have the interactivity with the audience at the beginning of the show. They don't always have time to chat while they're doing the actual show itself, but there's a kind of a pre-show, which Twit's famous for as well, where everybody gets to interact and chat with them.
We put the chat up on the screen just like CoCoTALK does, and before and after the show, we always have a lot of interactivity. So it's a good time.
And some of their banter's hilarious, actually.
I like one of the most recent. I like one of the most recent Facebook posts too. Somebody has said, "I just came across this podcast. This looks pretty interesting." And then Aaron comments, "Yeah, I hear that one of their hosts is a really handsome and charming guy, and the other one's name is John." So I thought that was funny. You guys definitely have good chemistry. So
and don't take yourselves too seriously.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that interview we did with you guys because I know everybody else had been watching your show for a while, and I hadn't really gotten a chance to see it yet. So to be able to talk to the three of you and Aaron and Brett, was really cool. I was like, man, these guys are cool guys. I like these guys, man. They're all right. And then,
thank you. We appreciate that.
And then the clip that Curtis played. Curtis is like, I'm gonna play this clip. I'm like, wait a second, this is 6 minutes. Come on, Curtis, I don't want to hear this crap, right? And he starts playing it, and you're just like tearing everybody apart. I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome! This is awesome! I could listen to this all day long, And it was just like you just basically shat across every other platform in this one broad stroke, and I'm like, yes, I love this.
Yeah, I would have picked that as one of my favorite moments, but it wasn't our show, so I couldn't.
It was aired on our show, so I was like, "Oh man, this is too much." Yeah, we could go on all day, but we're gonna have to put a fork in this at some point in time. So, how about I play the closing credits, and then we'll be able to come back for parting thoughts. Does that sound good?
Right, sounds good.
All right,
put a spork in it.
Put a spork in it. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at cocotalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live. Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click on the Patreon link on our website, cocotalk.live. CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Alan Murphy, Bill Noble, Brian Joyce, Brian Weasler, Curtis Boyle, D. Bruce Moore, Danny O'Connor, David Ladd, Eric Canales, Grant Leedy, James Diffendaffer, Jason Reichert, Jim Brain, Ken Reichert, Mark Bosley, Mark Overholzer, Mikey Furman, Mr. Dave 6309, Nick Marentes, Nick Marotta, Paul Fiscarelli, Richard Lorbieski, Rick Adams, Rick Hewlin, Rob Inman, Ron Delvaux, Samuel Gimes, Sloopy Malibu, Steve Bjork, Terry Steggy, Tom C., and many more. Please help support the Coco community. A list of various contributors and resources are available at imacoconut.com. That's imacoconut.com. The original CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. The new CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2020 by D. Bruce Moore. Both are mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. Coco forever, people! And speaking of meeting in person, that whole slideshow there was just different moments of us meeting at different Coco Fests and VCFs and things like that. And that's really, as much as it's fun to play games and talk about playing games and working on hardware and working on software, the most fun is to hang out with the people who love that the way you do and just hang out for a weekend.
In real life.
In real life, yes.
Real life.
Yes, and so I'm looking forward to more real life camaraderie at some point in time. I want to thank everybody for all the camaraderie we've had so far. So
yeah, and just next Coco event that David Ladd is at, make sure to bring him Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yes,
and water.
And water.
And, well, yeah, I'll bring you Diet Dr. Pepper, David, and you can find your own water.
You're on your
you can
own.
You can lead a David Ladd to Diet Dr. Pepper,
but you can't bring him water. Yes.
Oh, don't worry. And it's always fun to see everybody in person.
Yeah. Hey, David, let me ask you a question.
It is.
Hey, David Ladd, did you enjoy the show today?
Oh, yes, Stevie. I was quite enthralled.
Oh, David learned a new word. Enthralled. Wow.
I see that word a day calendar's working out for you, David.
It's a gift that keeps on giving, 365 days a year.
You need to make sure he gets one next year, too.
Jim Gary and David Lord and Torsten and Frodo and Explore VR and Henry and Edvin and Mark Overholzer and Jim Gary and Sloopy Malibu and Terry Steen and Henry and Sloopy and Marco and Terry Steen and Edvin and Sloopy and Dave and Sharon, Mr. Dave and James Jones and Nick Marotta and Qui-Gon and Henry and Sheldon McDonald, Mark Overholzer, Terry Steen. Lots of people in the chat here.
Yes, I post a lot.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, you're a chat liaison.
You're a chat man.
I try.
Yes, and so Marco, Just Mike, Sloopy, Craig Stewart stopped by from Australia saying congratulations. Another one of Nick's neighbors. We got to meet Craig Stewart at the 2019 Coco Fest.
And Nick's rival publishing games through Tandy back in the
yeah,
old movies.
And James Jones, Terry Steen. Erico has been here. Erico, and at that point I can't scroll back in the chat any further. But great show. I really enjoyed this show, and this show just reminded me of all the good times we've had over the years. And I think we're at a point in history and at a point in the state of the world right now where we need reasons to remember to be happy about something. There's so much shite out there in the world with politics and COVID and this and that, the other, that if we can find some small beacon of light in a dark and scary world, then let's gravitate towards that and let's try to spread more light and more love in the world. Camaraderie. That should be the name of the game. Kevin Holloway wants to know what episode 201 topic is. We'll let you know.
4 hours of news to catch up.
A recap of episode 200.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just recap our favorite moments from our favorite moments episode. You remember that time? You remember that time when you said that? Yeah, that was great, right?
So that would be a flashback episode.
Yeah, Stevie.
Can we get like the wavy lines?
How many hours was that, Brian? 639?
Six. Too many.
Too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to tell that to the rover on Mars.
Yeah.
with
So
Coco.
there are a few people I need to reach out to now that will be interesting guests to have. So I've had a few people send me contact information for people who would be interested in being on the show. And so now I have to remember to reach out to them. So hopefully in the near future, we're going to have some more special guests. And as much as we like the special guests and the surprise guests, I want to remind everybody, everybody's welcome to join us on CoCoTALK. Reach out to us on Discord. Say, yeah, I'd like to be on. We'll give you the information on how to join us on Zoom. We'll do some tests to make sure your cameras and lights and sound work and make sure that everything's smooth. And we'd love to have you on a future episode. And the only requirements to be on this show is you have to love the Coco and you have to love talking about the Coco, and that's it. There's no wrong way to Coco. There's no wrong way to be on CoCoTALK. Although
is Jim Gary one of your guests? Because we really need to get him on.
Jim has an open invitation. Jim has been on in the past. Jim Gary, and not only Jim Gary, but I actually want to reach out to the whole MC10 Facebook group because I want to have an MC10 day, where all we do is catch up and talk about all the stuff going on in that space because there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of stuff going on with the compilers and hardware and software. And I'm by far not an expert. I barely think I have a piece of a clue, but I'm a fan. And you guys have heard me say this for years. As Brian Joyce will attest, there's over 600 hours of me talking about what a fantastic machine that MC10 has always been.
Don't they have an if then else in their basic now?
MC10.
MC10. So, so I want to have an MC10 talk day. I want to have a Dragon day. And I've reached out to this before. And I think my biggest frustration is trying to reach out and ask for people to help us out. And people just don't. And I can't hold that against anybody. But I have tried reaching out to the Dragon group a few times saying, dudes, guys, help me out. I don't know a lot about the Dragon. I'd love to have a Dragon day. Love to have some people come on and talk about the Dragon intelligently, because all we're doing is playing YouTube videos and reading posts thinking we have a clue, but us dumb Americans have no clue. And even our dumb Canadian Curtis doesn't have a freaking clue. So we would like to have the people who know. We'd like to have the people who know what's going on come on and talk to us. I'd love to have a Dragon day. So
come on the show and have Stevie berate you too. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible.
Good, sure.
And to be honest, I mean, if it's a time zone difference, you guys are just busy on Saturday nights, which would be the time it is in the UK. Then we can prearrange a pre-record or something.
Yeah, or just do it at a different time. Yeah, we're always willing to be flexible. So the invitation is always open for everyone. If you want to talk about retro things that are somewhere remotely related to the color computer family of systems, we want to have you on and we want to talk about it. We want to share that joy and that happiness and all that good nostalgia and goodness, right? So that's the hokey pokey right there.
Torsten wants a Pal Coco Day.
Pal Coco Day at 50 hertz.
50 hertz.
And we'll be having some interesting artifact colors that day, and that's fine.
You can.
And you said, Stevie, everyone's welcome, and that even includes David Ladd.
Yeah. Go ahead, Simon.
I said you can have some interesting artifacts on PAL.
Oh yeah, we've seen them. They're neat.
Nick's used them on some of his games back in the 80s.
And the Alice
PAL version of Donut Dilemma that has some P Mode 3 artifact colors for PAL.
Yeah, because they're not like your artifacts where you got P Mode 4 where you're actually just two pixels beside each other that plot red or green or something like that. But this is because of the way PAL works. You've got two scan lines. So if you've done a yellow and a blue, it'd become a purple color, or a red and blue would become purple color because the way the PAL mixes. The PAL actually does it takes two scan lines and it kind of intermixes them.
They're interleaved then? Interleaved?
Yeah, that would be a great topic for a PAL Coco talk.
Yeah.
And we're all pals here anyway, so that just fits.
Okay.
You think somebody will put a gimme in a Dragon sometime?
Simon, Monza68's chiming in saying, I wrote a paint package for this, Simon, 16 color P Mode 3.
Neat.
Cool. Yeah. So
well, yes.
Monza equals Craig Stewart, he says. Monza68 equals Craig Stewart. Okay, so he wrote a paint package for this, a 16 color P Mode 3 PAL artifacting paint program.
Yeah, I put this out on the Dragon boards with Pierre Surratt and with Hugo Dufour a few years ago, where we done P Mode 3 artifacting on a 60 or we had actually 24 colors on P Mode 3 in PAL.
Okay, that's
Cool.
that's impressive.
Yeah, we definitely need to get a Dragon special. We need to get an MC10 special at some point.
Because
Absolutely.
I can tell you for a fact I have zero clue, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. So, but I want to be that sponge and absorb and learn, and just to be able to appreciate from the people who know it better than us and share that knowledge with us, so we can have a greater appreciation for our brothers across the pond. So good stuff, good times. Parting thoughts. David Ladd already said he had a good time today. Nick Marentes, did you have a good time today?
Awesome.
Are you awake?
The fact he's still awake, I think, is a big plus.
Yeah. So
he's already nodded
so
off.
Nick,
I'm ready for new acquisitions. Have we started yet?
So I thanked you in recording, but let me thank you in person too. You have been a great asset to the community and to this show, and I appreciate everything you've done for us, Nick Marentes.
Just a good ass.
Alan
What
Murphy.
game did you write during the show today?
Yeah,
Nick?
right.
Oh yeah, I got halfway finished the new game. So
Okay, good.
under Nitrous 9, right?
Ah, yeah.
On cartridge.
On cartridge.
Glad we
Wrong
provided so
cartridge.
much,
Oh, that was
dead
classic. I remember showing that clip to Nick Marentes. It was, oh, that was great. Alan
I
Murphy.
couldn't tell which of the two of you were laughing harder during
You
the
could
live.
hear me
That was
better, but you
hilarious.
could see it in Nick's face that he was laughing his ass off. So, Alan Murphy, how did we do today?
This was an awesome day with the Coco family. Loved it.
Awesome. James Differendaffer, we don't get to hear from you much. How you been, and how we do today? We do okay?
Well, I wanted to add one more thing.
Sure. He just rage quit. Look at that.
Beautifully
Well
done.
played, sir.
Beautifully
Well
done.
played.
Oh, that is it. Not to be outdone. Not to be outdone. Brian Joyce,
Wow.
thank you. Brian, I know my video wasn't up to your quality, but hopefully I did a good job bookending what you did. You kind of told me you were going to do something, which kind of gave me the idea. I think we ended up kind of complimenting each other, so hopefully I did you proud as you did me proud.
Oh, absolutely. That was a good one. Thank you.
Yeah.
My final thought is that what Bruce did for the video, the words actually came from the horse's mouth. So those words actually came from Nick Marentes. So.
Oh, what did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, the
9 out of 10 ain't bad.
Oh, 9 out of 10 ain't bad, right? So, D. Bruce Moore, thank you for everything you have done and for all the stuff you contributed, especially to this episode, but to everything. So thanks, Bruce, if you're still there. And Jason the Coco Man, thank you. You've been a great asset. Mark Bosley, thank you. And Ron Delvaux, I told you this before, you are a national treasure. And
big heart.
Thank you. You have got a great heart. You're a great
Big
man.
Yeah.
And we love you. Grant Leedy, yeah.
For you, Stevie.
I love you too. Boat, you guys are a great asset to the community. Love you guys. Love when you
Thanks, Stevie.
take a big old shite on another vintage platform that's not the Coco. Feel free to shite on other things and share that with us. It's glorious. Sloopy, great having you, dude. Great addition. Love having you, man. Nick Marotta. You're everyone's muse. You are our inspiration, Nick. You are the reason why we do what we do. We do it for you. Simon Jonason has been the community mentor for decades now. Thank you, Simon, from across the world to us. We love you. Curtis Boyle.
If somebody can let Rick Euland back in here, because
Actually, we have a couple times. He's stuck.
Okay, because I think he wanted to get some parting thoughts.
Oh, and it's well, at least it's the Pixar lamp that we see here right now.
He was said joining and he was stuck.
Rick, parting thoughts.
Make it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in.
You're in.
We just see your lamp.
Oh,
but-
cool.
You
I
see a
don't see. I don't see myself. I guess I'm a. I'm a.
You're a
lamp.
lamp.
We tried to let you.
Lamp
I'm now a face. Well, hey, happy bicentennial, and let's try another couple hundred, shall we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mark Overholzer, our resident Apple guy, been here since episode 1. Thank you for all you've done, sir.
Thank you. Wish you could do more, but yeah, I'm glad I've been here.
We do what we can. That's all we can do. And so we're about ready to press the button. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Hey, everybody.